We are live. Sorry about that, guys. I had to deal with a child that got sick. So sorry I'm late. Um, if you're still here, Montreal MGTOW, sorry. I'm sorry I'm late, pimping. But basically, we're gonna talk about various things. It's gonna be a freestyle type thing. We're gonna talk about black pill culture. We're gonna talk about red pill culture. We're gonna talk about everything in this lovely live stream. So it's gonna be a mixture of everything that we're gonna talk about. You want to start off your Garuda Ghost?
Yeah, what's going on, you guys? What's up? This is Garuda Ghost. Thank you all for listening. Live stream number 4 between Double G and Double T.
Yep.
Double T, sorry.
Yep.
GT Supremacy. Hail to the chief and salute the general. Time for some ghost sadism. Let's bring it on, man.
Yeah. So, what is it you want to talk about exactly today, this time around?
Yeah, right now for me it's 1:30 at night or in the morning. So for me this is not a live stream. This is a night stream.
A nice street, right? Nice street,
But
literally.
yeah, this is we are heading towards the end of the summer 2020. What is your perspective about that, Tico? Like, yeah, for you, what kind? Yeah, this was a crazy year. I mean, the year is not over yet, but yeah, the end of the summer. This is the beginning of the end. What is your opinion about that?
Um, my whole entire thing on that is it comes down to how we're going to address this, and like, because if you're in America, we're looking at an election year for the president for all intents purposes. I believe it's all about how the chips are going to fall. If it's going to be Democrat, if it's going to be Republican, or what's going to happen for all intents purposes. And the sad part about that, I have different views on if it's going to be Democrat or Republican, and things along the lines of that for all intents purposes. So it's all about how everything's going to fall. And forget you, McTown to win. It covers it.
But
And what's
the
up,
the
Secret
election in
Blackout?
the
Go ahead.
sorry, the election in the USA, that's in December or
That's November, I believe. Yeah, November.
November? Okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's where the presidential elections basically going to. There's going to be a lot of people on the House and Senate that's going to lose their seats or regain their seats too. But at the same time, the presidential election is the more important election that everybody's really, really worried about. What I think is going to happen is if Joe Biden wins, I think he's going to end up stepping down, and Kamala Harris is actually going to end up being the president of the United States. If it ain't Kamala Harris, is going to end up being Nancy Pelosi, depending on if she keeps her seat or not. Um, so that's going to be one of those things. Then you also have if Trump wins, the Democrats is going to do more of the same of like fair pandering and a lot of fair porn and a lot of stuff to basically make it seem like he's doing wrong or he's doing the wrong things. It's typically how it works. I've noticed in America when one candidate or the other is always in office, depending on their party, they always got to do the stuff that make it more. They got to make it sound more ridiculous than it really is. I've noticed in America, no matter who the president is, there's always the opposite party always trying to make it sound like, oh, they're wrong and they're doing this wrong and they're destroying the country. And the sad part about it, they'll never talk about the stuff that they actually do good. That the stuff that they actually do good that actually benefits people versus they'll tell you everything that's going wrong or they'll tell you the bad parts about stuff or they'll tell you all the wrong stuff. But they never really talk about all the good that's going on with the opposite party. It's like they're always slinging mud at the opposite party, which really sucks.
Yeah, true, man. And like, yeah, I don't vote because at the end of the day, it's a lose-lose situation. I mean, like I am like if I was an American, I am not a fan of Trump, and I am also definitely not a fan of Joe Biden or whatever the fuck his name is. I mean, like, yeah, I don't know if you are you voting?
Yeah, I'm going to vote this year. I'm probably going to vote Trump. I'm going to vote Trump most
Okay.
definitely this year. because I don't see myself voting for Biden. Because I look at it like this. I don't believe in rewarding somebody who runs on a platform trying to call somebody something when in fact we got like a laundry list of things that you've done that's way worse than what he done. Like they talk about, well, he's abusive to women, but Joe Biden grabbed the woman by the pussy. But Trump only talked about grabbing a woman by the pussy, but Joe Biden actually grabbed a woman by the pussy. Like,
Yeah, he touches a young girl's hair,
yeah,
man.
he touches young girl's hair and he's sitting there
Get the
smelling
fuck
people
out of
too.
here, man.
He's sitting there smelling people too. And it's like, dude, I got daughters. I really don't care how you feel about this. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna be. I'm sorry. Like, if that little girl in that one picture, any of the pictures was my child, he'd lose it all. He put his arms out there and he'd be going back with no arms. I'm just keeping it 100. Like, no, you don't.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey,
you don't
respect,
touch
man.
nobody's
I
child like
get
that.
your point, man.
Like, you don't touch nobody's child like that. I don't care. I don't care if you're the presidential hopeful. You'll be the
Yeah.
presidential hopeful without no arms if you touch my child like that. And that's just
Yeah,
how
yeah,
I
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
like. You got to keep your arms to yourself, pimp. Like, no, like for real. And it might
Yeah,
sound mean, but it's like,
that's pretty sick. That yeah, some scumbag like him
oh, definitely.
has such a yeah high position, you know.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things where it's like you literally have to look at the source, and you literally have to look at like what's going on. Because like I always look at it like this because I remember one matter of fact there's an op-ed with there's actually a story with a woman who's voting for Joe Biden, who literally said to the woman who he groped and molested, she believes her, but uh but Joe Biden winning over Trump is more important right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Like
sick,
that's
man.
and that's some sick individual stuff.
Right now you are giving a good example of yeah how sick this world is.
Yeah, you're willing to vote for a person that you believe sexually assaulted somebody because you want Trump out of office. That makes that person way better. And that makes that person way better. How, lady? Like, and this is typical female logic right here. You hate somebody so much, you're willing to put somebody even worse in office to replace that person. So, which leads me to believe that when they do that, they're probably going to replace him with the woman that's second in command, or they're going to replace it with Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah. Yeah, the world is sick, man. I always say, like, you know, we are living in a scum world, you know, and
Oh,
it's
definitely.
like when it comes to the red pill, the deeper you go down in that rabbit hole, the more you realize in what kind of world we live, you know, and like when it comes to yeah, people that are blue pilled, like you could never hate people because of yeah, like they don't have the same knowledge as you. And maybe that's better for them because most people they cannot handle it, you know, like if most people really woken up and they realize in what kind of dirty world we are living, I think most people yeah, commit suicide, I think.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely, most definitely. Because the thing that bothers me about the whole entire thing that the people who actually support him, they're I look at it like this: if you're willing to overlook a crime that somebody committed, or something that somebody a lot of different crimes that somebody committed, then you're no better than the person who actually committed the crimes. And it kind of sort of goes to show what I always talk about with the whole entire Harvey Weinstein thing. Look, he's a bad man. Okay, cool. But y'all allow and y'all were very complicit in his actions. And y'all participated in his actions, and nobody said not a damn thing. And a lot of innocent people fell into this damn thing. So you're just as bad as the man who did the crime, just so you can get a role in a movie, or you can get like a Academy Award basically for the movies that you can't even act in the first damn place. So you're complicit in the crime, no matter how you look at it. You're guilty. You're the blood of all those women and guys that had to go through this stuff, and kids that had to go through this stuff all because you kept your mouth shut so you can keep on getting movie roles. You're just as complicit as you're just as guilty in a crime or culpable in a crime as Harvey Weinstein was in actually doing it. At the end of the day, those crimes wouldn't take place as if somebody had opened their mouths and said something about it in a few in the first place, or when it took place, had you said no yourself and had some morals and had some standards.
Yeah, true. If you realize that or not.
No, definitely. It's like you can't sit up here and blame. You can't sit up here and tell me, oh well, it's all fine and good as long as you're getting what you want out of a person. But the minute you stop getting what you want out of a person, now you want to crucify the person and nail them to the cross. How's that work?
Yeah, true. But the problem of a lot of people these days is like most people they really don't see the difference between good and evil, you know?
Yeah, and that's the sad part about reality today. It's like you run into a lot of people who tend to think that because they're doing something, it's right, or if they're because they're doing it this reason. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. You got to be able to. You can't be out here trying to call out other people if you're being if you're if you're complicit or okay with a certain other group of people doing the same damn crimes. It doesn't work like that. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, but it is also like what it is with people these days. Like instead of taking responsibility for your actions, most people they are choosing to play the victim because like deep inside they maybe know damn well that they are wrong,
Oh
but
yeah,
because of the fact that they are embarrassed about it, they are gonna play the victim.
yeah. And I think the sad part about that, I believe that people who play victim all the time are just as guilty for the thing that they're trying to play victim for. So they're trying to portray themselves as a victim when in fact they're nothing more than the culprit, or they're nothing more than the same person in the same light that would have did the same thing if you gave them an answer, you gave them the ability to do it.
Yeah.
So I think they're just as guilty as the people that they try to play victim to, or they try to set themselves apart from.
Yeah, true. But like when I look at people, yeah, in society nowadays, like most people, they don't even think about like just thinking for themselves. Like me myself, I consider myself as an individual, and that is really rare these days. Like most people, they think as a group and not as an individual.
Yeah, that's very true. Like you should never involve yourself in group think. You should always want to be an individual. And you also want to think for yourself and be a better human being for yourself. You never want to fall into group think. I mean, group think only sets you up for failure. Then when something happens, you're sitting up there thinking to yourself, I don't understand how we got here. I don't understand how I got here or how I ended up in this situation. When in fact you helped yourself get in that situation by practicing group think.
Yeah,
Something.
true, man. And like if you are being an individual like me, like I find myself a lot of times alone, but
Yeah,
that doesn't mean I feel lonely. Like I'd rather live in reality alone than instead of living in a fake reality together with other people. So I'd rather be alone.
very true. Very true. Because the sad part about that, if you can't stand on your own, or you can't form your own opinions or your own ideas, what is the point of you being a human being? Because now you're just a carbon copy of whoever the heck you're following for all intents and purposes. And this is typically the problem that I have with a lot of people. If you can't be your own individual, then who the hell are you? That's something that you got to figure out yourself all the time. It's not for everybody else to figure out for you. You got to be your own human being.
Yeah, and I think the most people that are hanging around with each other, like not because they like each other, just because of the fact that they don't want to be alone.
Yeah, they don't want to be alone, or they don't want to, have to think for themselves, because thinking for themselves will be something that's difficult for all intents and purposes. And it's kind of sad. What's up, Black Pill Radio? And it's kind of sad to you see people like that that need other people around them because they can't think for themselves, or they need people around them because they need yes men. Um, it's sad to watch that. It's really sad to watch that. And it's like, dude, you could have formed these. If you're gonna be doing this, you could have formed these opinions by yourself, and could have been more confident in yourself by forming your own opinions, and like you didn't have to drag other people into it. You could have just ran with it. And that's simply how like a lot of people are. They don't like to be alone, and they need to feel validated. It's almost like it's a high level of validation to not want to be alone for all intents and purposes, because they need that person to be their yes man, or they need validation so they can know that they're special, or they need to feel like they're special for all intents and purposes. It's simply how a
Yeah,
lot.
true. And like most people, they are living in a fake reality. Like they are presenting themselves like they are ultra successful, and not because it benefit themselves. It is more a picture or a image towards other people. And a good example of that is like the funny thing is most people that you see drive around in a Mercedes or in BMW or whatever, the funny thing is 9 out of 10 times they don't even have money for gas. Most people that are living in big houses, like they don't even have the money to go on vacation. They are living from paycheck to paycheck. And
Story.
like if you didn't know those people and you would see that, then you probably think, yo, those people are really successful. But 9 out of 10 times that is not the case. They are living in a fake reality, trying to be, yeah, that ultra successful person, not for themselves but for the outside world.
Yeah,
And yeah, when we talk about the red pill, I escaped the matrix, but like when you take the red pill, you pop that really big bubble.
definitely.
But inside that bubble, you have smaller bubbles within bubbles within bubbles. It's more like, a matrix within a matrix, a simulation within a simulation, a video game within a video game. And it is already hard to break free from this fake society that we are living in, but I think it is more difficult to break free from your own fantasy world, you
Definitely,
know?
it definitely is. And the sad part about that is, like you were talking about, people getting themselves into messes and stuff like that. In the society that we live in, especially the first world countries in the Western world, a lot of people are basically trying to keep up with the Joneses, or basically trying to outkick their coverage, or as I was always refer to it as trying to live a Mercedes lifestyle on a Toyota budget. Um, and they literally live paycheck to paycheck, and they literally live. It's not even paycheck to paycheck anymore at that point. It's literally like you live so far above your means, your money's already spent before you even get it. So now
Yeah,
you're
and
you're
like,
technically living.
yeah,
So now you're
and like,
technically living life in a debt or in a deficit, because your money's already gone before you even get it.
yeah, true, man. Like me myself, I'm just yeah, me myself, I'm just living in a two-bedroom apartment in some building. Yeah, I'm on the fourth floor, the ghost on the fourth floor. But but it's like I am living pretty basic, you know. I'm
Mhm.
just rent, but I make enough money to go on holiday, to buy the things that I want. Like if I got a lot of saving money. Like if I lose my job right now, I will be safe for more than a year, about 14 months.
Hmm.
Like I don't have to worry about taking care of a wife or kids. And yeah, for me that is also a aspect of MGTOW.
Yeah, true. Very true. And the sad part about that is like what a lot of people don't seem to get or understand about that is like, look, live your life and do what you want to do to the best of your ability. And another thing that I've always noticed about people is they try their best to keep up with other people and they try to live above their means. And yeah, it is. What's up, Billy Goat? Billy the Goat. It is a new mic too, by the way. Yeah, to answer your question, but yeah, it's one of those things where like you have to be an individual. You don't always have to follow the crowd. You don't always have to be in the in crowd. Do yourself and do yourself to the best of your ability. Don't try to do everybody else. Don't try to be the Kardashians. Don't try to be the Jeffersons. Don't try to be the Desperate Housewives of New York, Atlanta, or wherever the hell you want to call it. Be yourself. That's like the most powerful thing you can do is be yourself and be honest with yourself. Because the minute you start getting outside yourself and start acting all extra, you start to realize very quickly that one, it's not the life for you, and two, you're about to destroy your own life trying to keep up with everybody else. You're basically living a fantasy right now. Why do you want to live a fantasy? Why can't you be yourself? Why can't you do the stuff that you want to do? Don't go to don't go to some the Hamptons because all the artists and all the rappers and all the movie stars are going to the Hamptons. Go to the Hamptons because you want to go to the Hamptons. Don't drink a drink because a rapper drinks a drink or a movie star drinks a drink. 9 times out of 10, they probably don't even drink the crap. Do it because you like to drink. That's the problem with people. They want to do stuff because they've seen a rapper do it or an actor do it. It's like, dude, do it because you like it. Don't do it because they like it. I don't know. That's me
Yeah,
though.
yeah, true, man, and that's a good point that you make, Tico. Like, that rapper or that actor, what kind of person is that? You don't know that, but because you like his music or the movies that he plays in, you think that is a really good person, But like when it comes to human nature in general, like did you I don't know if you ever had that, Tico, but did you ever met a person in your life that inspired you so much that you were like, I want to meet this person and I want to know more about this person. And just at that point that you actually know that person, you are like, this person is not the same like the
Right?
music that he makes, or this
Right?
person is not the same like the movies that he is playing. So yeah, maybe sometimes it's better if you don't know somebody really well. I
Yeah.
hope you understand what I mean with this.
Mm-hmm. I understand. I understand quite well what you mean by that. Because there are some people. It's typically how I approach like listening to new content creators for all intents and purposes. If your content if your content isn't the same across the board, and you let's just say 1 minute you were doing like I'm dumping on MGTOW videos, and next thing you know, you turn around and now you're talking about how much you love MGTOW videos or MGTOW. Okay, now I got a problem with you for that reason now because
Yeah.
now you're being fake and now you're just doing it so you can get attention and you just want to blow up. Um, like that's pretty much another thing. Like it'd be one thing if you started off as a video gamer, and then it'd be one thing if you start off as a video gamer and then you transition into MGTOW content because if you ever notice a lot of the MGTOW content or a lot of the red pill content and MGTOW content creators actually talk about stuff while doing video games. I can understand that. That's
Yeah,
reasonable,
true. Yeah. That's true, man. Yeah.
and I can understand that because that's reasonable. But if you're doing something like you're talking about being a dating coach, and the next thing you know you're a MGTOW. Now I got a problem with you, and now you're not keeping it consistent.
Yeah, true, man. And like, yeah, talking about dating coaches, I shit on them. And why? Like they are presenting themselves like they are red pilled, but they are not red pilled.
Yeah, true. And they'll do that.
And
They're
like
basically
I I
job
I, I made
the
a
job
I made a
description.
video last year. most women don't want an alpha male, and the thumbnail is yeah, dating coaches and PUAs are not red pilled. That is my opinion.
Mm-hmm. So the thing about dating coaches and PUAs is they're basically purple pill. If you want to get technical,
Yeah,
my honest opinion on purple pillars, because I've always laughed at them. Because I remember I was actually in a live stream with another purple pillar, and he goes, "Well, Tico, it's different. You're too close to the MGTOW community. You're MGTOW." I go, "No, I'm not MGTOW. I'm red pill." Well, it's same difference. It's not the same difference. You're just mad because you can't do what I do. Basically, is my thoughts on it. And the sad part about that is the difference between there's something I've noticed about a lot of the purple pillars is the fundamental difference between me and a purple pillar is they're simps and I'm a pimp. When it comes to relationships, I'm a pimp. We're going to do it my way. We're not going to do the shit at all. And this is the problem that they have. That's the problem that they have in their relationships, for the fact that they're willing to accept anything from a woman. They're willing to accept any woman, and they're willing to take women on, despite the fact that they're bottom feeders. And this is typically the problem that a lot of the purple pillars have. And they always want to go, "Well, Tico, you're too close to the MGTOW community, so you can't be objective." No, I'm very objective. I stand alone by myself for a reason, and
yeah, true.
I'm
And
willing to actually call out shit when I see shit, and I'm willing to actually leave shit alone when I need to leave shit alone. The problem is, though, what you can't do is realize that, because the sad part about that, a lot of these purple pillars, they'll try to paint everybody in with a broad brush. And the sad part about that, what they fail to realize is that, no, dude, I'm actually in a relationship, and I'm in a successful relationship, and my relationship is better than any of your relationships that you've ever been in. And this is typically always the thing I always do with purple pill people, because like, well, y'all hate women. I don't hate women. I'm actually in a relationship. You apparently don't listen to any of my content, you reject. And it's like, and this is the problem that I have with purple pillars, because they don't really pay attention, and they always want to paint people with a broad brush, or they want to say that you all hate women, when in fact, no, we don't hate women in the least bit. We all have female coworkers. We all have female business partners. We all have female relatives. We all have female, let it be daughters or whatever the hell, or family members. So we can't really hate women when we have all these females around us who love and care and admire us, and need us to actually be a team player or a partner or a father or a nephew, I mean a niece or an uncle or whatever the heck. We all can't hate women if we got these people around us.
yeah, and I think it's maybe better to yeah, just be blue pilled, because like the problem that I have with purple pillars, like they think that they can change the reality because of their knowledge, and that is
Mm-hmm.
wrong.
I typically question their knowledge and how much knowledge they actually have, because at
But
the end of
like
the day,
how the way how I see the purple pill, like they have pretty much the same knowledge like red pillars, but they are trying to use that knowledge to get back on the plantation, because they think because of their knowledge that they can change the matrix. For
mm-hmm,
me, that is the purple pill. I mean, like for me, the red pill is just yeah, the reality and accepting the reality for what it is, and there is nothing that you can do about it. And purple pillars, they are trying to change that because of their knowledge, and
mm-hmm,
that is yeah, that is wrong.
mm-hmm. So the sad part about that, you're not going to change reality. There's
No.
nothing you can do to alter reality. Reality is always going to be reality. What you're trying to do is nothing more than a pipe dream, or nothing more than smoke and mirrors. You're always going to fail for that reason at doing stuff that you think is right. Because what you can't do is have this dream about doing something that's the impossible. I mean, it's one thing if you have a dream about being like a business owner, or a basketball player. That's different. But you having a dream about changing the whole entire society, that's not going to happen. At least
No.
without blood, sweat, and tears, or your body, your blood, and your life being on the line for all intents and purposes. And the sad part
Yeah.
about it, a lot of these purple pillars ain't willing to go that damn far to remotely change anything. They just merely just open their mouths and hope and pray that people are willing to make the change with them. When in fact, that's not the case. Reality is reality. You have to accept it. You can't
Yeah,
change it.
true, man. Yeah, and I want to touch upon that, and I will probably piss a lot of guys off. I know that, but a lot of guys that label themselves as MGTOW, they are not red pilled, they are purple pilled. Because like you don't like you also can be a purple pilled MGTOW or a blue pilled MGTOW or a black pilled MGTOW. Like MGTOW and the red pill, it doesn't always have to be the same, and that is a mistake of a lot of guys in the manosphere. And I know I am pissing a lot of guys off right now. And if you get pissed off, go fuck yourself, man. The
Mm.
red pill and MGTOW is not the same. And a lot of guys that label themselves as MGTOW, they are not red pilled. They are purple pilled.
Well, it's not necessarily that's not necessarily the case. I mean, what you basically mean is this it's not always mutually exclusive. There's a lot of MGTOWers that are purple pillars. There's a lot of MGTOWers that are black pill. There's a lot of MGTOWers that are red pill. There's a lot of MGTOWers that are blue pill still. And the sad part about that is it comes down to how you're. This is typically where I always talk about content. If I can go back and look at your content and it literally doesn't line up with what you're talking about now, what you're
Yeah.
talking about then doesn't line up with now, I tend to not really fuck with that type of person because I'm not willing to follow somebody that's full of shit. It's simply how I look at it. This is why I always go back and look at their older content on their channel before I make the decision if I want to follow that person. Um, I'm not willing to listen to somebody who just, woke up the next day and said, because the sad part about that is like, there's a lot of MGTOWers, people that refer to themselves as MGTOWers that are pickup artists. That's not really any appeals at all. You're just a pickup artist, or what they refer to as quote unquote Dom game. There's a lot of those MGTOWers too. And it's one of those things that you got to be able to sort through, and you got to be able to not really fall into the bull crap that is that stuff. Because there's a lot of people that take the MGTOW title just so they can actually get more views and clicks, and are really like pickup artists, or they're really like you know dating coaches or something like that, or they're really they're really blue pill people or they're purple pill people, and they're talking about relationships in a MGTOW video, and it's like, wait a minute, what? Like, and it's like, that don't make no damn sense, because there's a lot of people that take up the acronym just so they can actually get more views and clicks, and it's
Yeah,
true.
true. And like if you watch a video, always keep your mind straight. Like even though it says red pill or MGTOW in the title, that doesn't mean it is the truth, man. Because like most videos that I watch with MGTOW or red pill in the title, it is total bullcrap, man.
Oh,
It's garbage.
definitely, definitely. And this is typically why I got that's why I got a selective group of MGTOW red pill videos that I actually look at, listen to, and watch on a regular basis. It's like, I've always said, look, if you're not a part of that group, either somebody didn't introduce me to you, and somebody that I trust didn't introduce me to you, or these are the people I'm actually comfortable with actually watching and whose content I'm comfortable with consuming. Because it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not willing to actually go out there and listen to somebody who got some radical craziness, left leaning craziness. Because it's like, I always looked at it like this. Like my content might be like kind of sort of crazy, but it's like I approach it from a psychological or an esoteric psychological or a morality standpoint for all intents and purposes. And this is typically why my content like either clicks or resonates with people. Because look, dude, I'm hitting you at a visceral level, I'm hitting you at an emotional level, I'm hitting you at a psychological level, I'm gonna hit you at a morality level. And the sad part about that is I'm a relatable person too. Like I always say, even when I'm being, I'm a likable person. Even when I'm being a dick, I'm a likable person. At the end of the day, like, and that's typically what it really is. Like I'm a likable person all around, and like I can actually engage people even if I don't like the people, and still be a likable person. And the sad part about that is like you got a lot of people that either try to mimic what I do, or you got a lot of people that try to take what I do and then run like far left with it or something like that, or they try to run far right with it. And it's like, dude, you don't have the charisma to do that. Like me personally, I wouldn't do that. But if I was going to do it, I would still be a likable person being able to run far right with the shit. You can't do that because you're not me. Because I've noticed that with a lot of people. They'll take what I do. They'll try to take my style and run with it far right, or take my style and run far left with it. And it's like they're basically mimicking my style. And it's like, dude, you still suck. Like
Yeah.
all you got is all you got is a bunch of yes men around you. Like I don't have yes men around me. Either you got to disagree with me, or we only can agree like 50% of the time, or something along the lines of that, or we got to have some disagreeable traits in us for me to actually want to get along and do a live stream with you. And that's typically how I work as a human being. Like I don't want yes men around me. You got to have some disagreeability in you when it comes to me. And it's
Yeah,
simply how it
good point, man. Yeah, and like you know what is, Chico? Even though you call yourself red pill and I also call myself, that doesn't necessarily mean I always agree with you. And like I
yeah.
don't give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck if you label yourself MGTOW or red pill or not. Like everybody can get it from me. Everybody. It is
Oh yeah,
me against
definitely.
everybody.
It don't matter if you got 1 million subs. It don't matter if you got 1,000 subs. Trust me. If you say something I
Yeah.
don't like, you're going to catch it. You're going to catch heat. And you're going to catch fire. It don't
Yeah,
matter.
true. And like
It don't
I
matter if
don't
you.
I really don't give a fuck how many subs you have, because like if I don't take you serious, fuck you and fuck all your thousands of subscribers, you know?
Yep. You know my saying. Fuck you. Fuck your face and fuck your day when it comes to you and yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you yourselves watch me, hey, I'm just keeping it 100. You know damn well I'm keeping it 100.
Yeah. Hey, but one other thing. Let's talk about the black pill. What is your perspective of the black pill?
My perspective of the black pill is because I've been asked this multiple times. My perspective of the black pill, I take a Vedic, esoteric, or psychological approach to the black pill. Also take you know, I basically take a realistic stance to the black pill for all intents and purposes. This is typically why I refer to myself as the internal sadist, because that is pretty much the combination of knowledge and that's the combination of knowledge, assholeness, and realism all put under one roof for all intents and purposes. And the sad part about that, you'll typically see that when I'm talking to somebody who believe they can like do something legally, when in fact, if you actually look at the laws and the bills that are passed, there's stuff within the bills that still work against you, no matter how much you like it or not. Like just because they passed a bill for ACH, or just because they passed a bill for like a good example of a bill that passed recently was the what's it called, the stimulus package bill, basically talking about like helping Americans who are going through the COVID virus thing. There's a lot of stuff in that bill that they don't talk about that actually goes against human rights and human decency for all intents and purposes, and they tend to leave that out and they don't talk about it. And all they hear is like, we're getting money, but meanwhile back at the ranch, like they're moving artillery pieces, they're putting FEMA camps in your city and state, they're doing all this craziness that you're not paying attention to because you're too busy worried about stimulus and money.
Yeah.
And this is typically what's up, a manly load. And this is typically the problem that I have with a lot of people when I tend to really black pill a lot of these people because they talk about, well, the law says this and the constitutional right says this. Well, those don't really matter. How can you say that, Tico? Easy, because the bills that they pass say they don't matter. Like that's simply how that works. Like they pass bills all the time innocently, and you think of them like, oh well, it's a stimulus package, or it's a economic infrastructure package or something stupid like that. It'll have some nice title like that for all intents and purposes, and you think nothing of it until you actually read all the stuff within that bill. It's typically how it works. And the sad part about that the sad part about that, a lot of the stuff that a lot of the people run into, and a lot of stuff that a lot of people fail to realize is your government, even though you have these constitutional rights and you have all this great stuff and extra stuff, you're still going to run into all these problems for the fact that you're not paying attention to all the stuff that they're passing in their bills. All you hear is, I'm just making one up. Uh, elderly people, um, the elderly people package fund for to fix the infrastructure for elderly people. That's all you hear. But the sad part about that, the stuff in there ends up being stuff like, we're going to take money from this place and we're going to put it in this place, or one state wants tanks and guns for Lord knows what reason. It's just stuff like that that just blows my mind that everybody always overlooks.
Yeah, true, but it's also like people want to see, no, people see what they want to see. People believe what they want to believe because it's easy, and like it is more easy to for people to seeing the things that are easy. That I'm just gonna give you an example. Like I said, most people are living in fake realities, and it's way more easy to live that fantasy than the reality. I think
Oh,
most people, they maybe do see it, but they have the feeling like they cannot do nothing about it, so they are ignoring it and they pretend like they don't see it, but
oh,
actually they do see it, but they feel powerless.
definitely, definitely. And the sad part about that is, um, you're always going to feel powerless. And the sad part about that, it's all about how you handle that powerlessness. If you're feeling powerless, that's because usually you didn't add up, or you don't have the tools to actually not feel as though you're powerless. And the sad part about that, there's a lot of people who feel this way. It's going to be like that. No matter how much you cut it, no matter how much you do, no matter how much you change things, you're always going to feel powerless at some point in your life. It's all about how you handle that and address it, and accommodate your powerlessness. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you do or how you do it. It's a matter. All that matters is how you go about, fixing it, or mitigating the mitigating your feelings on why you feel powerless for all intents and purposes. Because without that, you won't progress in life, and you'll suffer for all intents and purposes when it comes down to it.
Yeah, true. But when you look at people in general, like they are not doing things because they actually want it. They are doing things because it's more easy.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And it's always going to be like that. And the sad part about that is doing stuff because it's easy is pointless. Oh, good Lord. Doing stuff because it's easy is pointless. You should never do something because it's easy. Because at the end of the day, that lets me know that you're not willing to actually challenge yourself or be a better human being at the end of the day. If you're going to do stuff that, because it's easy, or you're going to do stuff because you think it's the right thing to do, or you think it's
Yeah,
because you just want to go along to get along. Anything that's easy is not always the great thing to do. Sometimes you got to forge your own path, and you got to forge your own road and go down that road alone. Even though everybody's picking on you, calling you names, calling you out your name, calling you stupid for doing so. Sometimes you got to do it. Sometimes you got to be an individual. But the sad part about that, hardly anybody anymore wants to be an individual. They always want to walk the same road as everybody else is walking, and they don't want to be an outcast, and they want to be a part of society. And sometimes you got to be that outcast. Sometimes you got to be that lone wolf. Sometimes you got to figure out stuff by yourself, because
yeah, true.
that's when you actually figure out yourself and learn from yourself and become a better version of yourself, when you're willing to actually look at that. Because the sad part about that, when you actually challenge yourself, you realize what you can and cannot do as a human being, or what your capabilities are as a human being. The problem with that is people always like to follow a certain narrative because it's easy, because they don't have to do any damn work. The problem with that is To actually figure out who you are as a human being, you have to actually put yourself in situations where it's not going to be easy. And you're always going to have to take the hard road to actually make yourself a better human being. It's almost like what they say about fire. Most men are forged in fire, or most people, most great things are forged in pressure and or fire. Good example, is steel and titanium is forged through fire, very very high levels of very very high levels of heat and fire. To better to make it to make steel better, you got to turn it into. I mean, to make iron better, you got to turn it into steel. To make steel better, you got to turn it into titanium. You see what I'm saying? It's a lighter, stronger material that you can actually use with more flexibility and more solid that you can actually use to actually be okay. The same thing goes for diamonds. Diamonds are forged through pressure. They're not forged through going along and getting along with everybody else. They're forged through pressure. You got to be able to do that. You got to be able to take the pressure so you can come out a diamond yourself. It's simply what I was talking about in one of my last streams. Like, you want to be that diamond yourself.
Yeah, true. And like when it comes to like, yeah, for me, it is, yeah, easy to go on a 1 day trip to Belgium or Germany.
Yeah,
But I don't want that. For me, it is more difficult to go to the United States or Southeast Asia, but I really want that. And even though it costs me more money and I need a better preparation, that is what I want. And I am not going on a 1 day trip to Belgium or Germany only because it's easy. I don't want that, but most people are like that. And that is a problem with people in general. Like, they don't do things because they want it, because it is easy. And yeah, and like when it comes to MGTOW, I don't wanna hang around with those type of people anymore. I am trying to surround myself with, yeah, individuals like me. And yeah, that is definitely not easy, especially in this time that we are
no,
living in
definitely
right
not.
now.
And the sad part about that is, really, Billy the Goat actually brought up a very good point. Do what's easy, life will be hard. Do what's hard, life will get easier. Life gets easier. That's very true. That's
Yeah,
very true. Because sometimes you got to learn stuff yourself. It's not always wise to learn stuff yourself, but sometimes you got to forge yourself. Sometimes you got to actually figure out yourself by yourself and not have everybody else trying to point out who you are to yourself. Because the minute you got people telling you who you are, you've lost the reality of who you are as a human being. You can't
yeah,
really go.
true. And then like also like one of the reasons that people are not doing the things that they want, because they have the feeling like they are not ready for it yet. And the funny thing is, you are never ready for it. At that moment that you are doing it, then you are ready.
True, very true. Because like this is typically the problem that a lot of people have with learning new things or being about doing things. Because like people like flash and people like things to be so fancy and flashy. And the sad part about that, your best knowledge doesn't always have to be flashy or fancy or you know it doesn't always have to be like stand outish or there doesn't have to be like belly dancers and freaking fireballs and comets coming down all the time when you actually learn some knowledge. Sometimes the best knowledge you're going to get is always going to be boring. It's never going to be the knowledge. It's never going to be what you want it to be, or it's never going to be how you expect it to be. Like sometimes you'll get the shit. I've gotten the best knowledge, put myself into situations that I normally wouldn't put myself into.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where like you got to be willing to actually sit through something to understand something a lot better. Because the sad part about that, nobody wants to do that because everybody suffers from like ADHD or something along the lines of that. And if you're not like showing something like pretty girls or you know flashy cars and houses and stuff like that, they tend to get like very bored with stuff very easily.
Yeah, true. And like if you are in that type of situation, like you are forcing yourself to be creative.
Yeah,
because all you got is yourself.
yeah, definitely. The sad part about that is what you can't do is sit up here and say like, well, I did this and it didn't really work out for me. When in fact, it's the fact that you didn't work out for it, um, because you just gave up. And that's typically how a lot of people act or feel like they gave up, but they want to say that it didn't work or it wasn't really their cup of tea, and it really didn't pan out the way that they wanted it to. It didn't pan out the way they wanted it to, for the fact that sometimes it's not supposed to pan out the way you wanted it to. And for the most part, 9 times out of 10, either you gave up or you didn't look hard enough.
Yeah, or they thought it was easy because if you want something that maybe other people have, like when other people do it, it is always easy, but until you got to do it yourself, then it's not
Yeah,
easy anymore.
true, true. Because the sad part about that, most of the stuff I've ever learned was based on myself. Well, I learned a lot of from my families, but a lot of the stuff was forged through, trial and error, or life experiences, or watching people go through some shit. And it's just stuff like that. Like I always say, look, a wise man learns from other people's mistakes. A wise man learns from other people's mistakes. A smart man learns from his own mistakes. A dumb man, a dumb man basically, you know, tries to tries to try to make excuses for all his mistakes. It's typically how that works. Is what normally what I say. So a wise man learns from other people's mistakes. A smart man learns from his own mistakes. A dumb person basically makes excuses for all the mistakes that he's ever done and never learns from it.
Yeah, true. And a good example of that is like when I look at married men in general. And yeah, when I talk about my coworkers, a lot of them are married,
Mm-hmm.
and the majority of them, like I see how they suffer from, yeah, not their own lives, but the lives of their wives and children. And like I have never been married, but yeah, like the way how they live, yeah, I wouldn't call that, yeah, a mistake, but I don't want to live that lifestyle. And that is like learning something from somebody else that you're like, I do not want to be like that.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. Because I've actually been married before. Um,
Okay.
I've actually been married before, but like she died in a
But
car accident.
how is that?
Um, the person that I picked was actually very she was actually very good. Um, I picked very intelligently. I didn't pick because she had ass and tits. Um, I didn't pick her because I was trying to get my dick wet. In other words, it's one of those things where it just kind of sort of happened out of nowhere. And this is typically the problem that a lot of men have in this society. They pick because they want to get their dick wet, or they pick because the ass and tits look good. Or like I said
Yeah,
in a lot,
at that point, then it's already going wrong.
oh, it's already gone wrong, most definitely. If you're picking a girl because she looks good and her ass and tits are big, or you want to get your dick wet, that'd be like basically going to a supermarket and going shopping while you're starving. Like you don't want to go shopping while you're starving because you're going to buy shit that you normally don't need, and you're going to spend more money than you actually need to.
Yeah.
That's typically the premise. You never want to go shopping starving, or never go shopping on an empty stomach, because you'll sit up there and be buying out Walmart stuff that you normally don't buy, stuff that you don't need, and you'll pretty much break your diet if you're on a diet for all intents and purposes, because you're just hungry and everything you see looks edible. So the same thing goes for dating. Never date somebody whose tits are big or ass is big, or you just want to stick your dick in. If
Yeah,
that person
true,
can't,
man. And
if that person,
like when it comes to women and having a relationship, like I am more into that, yeah, how should I call it, that spiritual connection.
oh,
And
definitely, definitely.
if you look at relationships nowadays, that is more based on, yeah, lust.
Oh yeah, lust. Like I said in my one video, it's all lust. Because the sad part about that is everything's about lust anymore these days. Everything's about instant gratification and other stupid stuff like that. Like I don't think I've ever been in a relationship where where I wasn't respected, or the person wasn't willing to sacrifice as much as I was willing to sacrifice. Because at the end of the day, this is what people fail to realize: a relationship's about give and take, or give and take for all intents and purposes. If you're the only person in a relationship that's giving, giving and giving and giving, and the other person's taking, that's not a good relationship for you in the first damn place. You need to not be in that relationship. You need to just call it quits. And you need to start all over again and scrap that bitch, basically. It's simply what I always say to men. Look, if you're dating a chick and she ain't right, take her ass back to Walmart, put her on the counter, and return her to the
Yeah.
bargain bin. And take your ass to a much more expensive store and get you a better person. That's simply how I feel about it. Like, good shopping in these bargain bin stores for women, and actually take yourself somewhere where you can actually get something, or get somebody that's worth something. I'm not going to say they're going to be 100% worth it, but if you're going to do it, don't put yourself in a situation where you're always going to be murdering yourself or killing yourself to try to please somebody. Because at the end of the day, if that person's not trying to please you, that person doesn't need to be in your life. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that is totally true. But the fact is, Tico, like a lot of men these days, they don't give a fuck. They only think about, yeah, tits and ass. And like, yeah, coming back at MGTOW, yeah, I hate to say this, but a lot of guys, they fucked it up by themselves, you know? Like, if you, like, women are not stupid, you know? If you only think about tits and ass, women, they will see that and they
And they'll
will
use it
take
against you.
advantage of that, you know?
Oh yeah, they'll use it against you. And the sad part about that, you as a man should know. Well, the sad part about that, I can't say you as a man should know this, for the fact that, especially if you didn't grow up in a household with a strong male, or if you didn't grow up in a household with a male, period, or if you grew up in a household with a dad that's always capitulating to your mom, you're probably not going to learn this. That's probably not a
Yeah,
lesson that
I,
you're going
I, I, I learned it without a father, without a male figure, so I can be proud of myself.
to, man. Women will always play the system. Women are, like I always
Yeah,
say, women are socially smart and emotionally smart. So they're always going to use the social song. They're always going to use a social construct, and they're always going to use a social construct, and they're always going to use the emotional construct to basically beat a man out over anything, for all intents and purposes, because that's what they're good at. That's what they're better at. Society and social constructs, meaning social media, or putting you out on blast before you can get yourself out of, before you can put them out on blast, is typically how they work. So they're always going to beat you to the punch to basically make yourselves seem like they're the better people. It's basically nothing more than a PR stunt, and they happen to beat you to the punch. Or better yet, a better visceral way to actually explain it to you is, think of it like the Title IX office after sleeping with a woman. You got to beat her there before she beats you there.
yeah.
That's pretty much what it really is at the end of the day. That's pretty much all it really is. And the men don't really think of that stuff, and women do. Women always got set on speed dial. Men think about that after the fact. Then it looks like they're basically trying to, you know, they're basically trying to, retaliate at that point when you actually think of it too late. And this is typically
Yeah.
how men get jacked up, because it looks like you're retaliating no matter what you do. After, if you're the second person to respond on this, you're the second person on the scene of the crime after you'd have been shot. It looks like you're basically trying to retaliate, or trying to get revenge at that point. And you always want to have this in the front of your mind, because women are going to do this to you no matter what. Women are going to do this, especially if you pick the women that you pick. Women are going to do this to you, because, like I said, like I always say, when it comes to women and men, when it comes to a relationship, there's two motherfuckers in this relationship. You motherfucker and her motherfucker. You can't
Yeah,
you can't, you
true.
can't tell me that you didn't know this person, or you can't tell me what you that you didn't know what you were getting yourself into, when all the flags leading up to this told you otherwise. It's one of those things where it's like, that's basically be no different than a woman telling me, like, oh, he's an abusive man. He was abusive at the beginning of the relationship. What else is new? Next. You can't be telling me some stuff about somebody that we already knew and we warned you on, and you didn't want to listen. That's not how this works. So, and the sad part about that, people always want to try to bend the rules to look like a victim in a relationship, when in fact you're just as guilty as the person in the relationship that you're in a relationship with, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, true. But that is also the problem of relationships now. Like, like a lot of men they only think about tits and ass. A lot of women they only think about money and status, and that is already at that point that it is already going wrong, you know?
Actually, I got a theory to that, how it actually goes wrong. When I actually, because I said this in another video. Typically, when you actually deal with a woman, what you want to do is actually get her to actually, like a good example of that is the shit test, or everybody always talks about the shit test. Like, the question that women ask, what are we? You as a man should never answer that question first. Let her answer that question first. That way, the burden of proof, or the guilt will always fall on her. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
never answer that
and
question first.
that is pretty logic because yeah, she is asking that question.
She's asking that question, so make her ass
Yeah,
answer that damn question. Don't answer that question for her. Don't give her no path for plausible deniability or anything like that. Make her say it first. Because at the end of the day, what's going to happen with that relationship is that lets you know that she wasn't invested in you in the first place, and she gets to ask you, what are we? She's not invested in you in the least bit if she gets to ask that question. And this is typically the problem that a lot of men have. So if you answer that question first as a man, you've already fucked up. You've already fucked up. Make her answer that question first. And either A, don't answer that question second, or B, be like, okay, ditto. you know, However she answers the question, you just say ditto. I mean, it's one of those things where you like basically place the burden of proof, or you make her take the initiative. You put the ball in her court for all intents and purposes. Because at the beginning of a relationship, if she asks you, "What are we?" the ball's falling in your court, and you're going to be responsible for everything. The sad part about that, you got to make her responsible for her own damn questions at the beginning of the damn relationship, and she's going to be asking these dumbass
yeah.
questions. She's going to have to
Yeah,
answer those
but
dumbass
true, but
questions.
like like what I see nowadays, like a lot of men, they are they think that they need to follow the woman, and that is wrong. Like I mean, a man's primal objective is to survive, but a woman's primal objective is to find a man to survive. But
True
a
story.
lot of men these days, they
They
truly
forget
think
about.
that they should follow the woman, and that is the wrong mindset, I think.
Well, it's not the fact that you should follow the woman. You also got to take consideration too. Your job as a man is less intensive than is less intentions. I mean, think about it like this: you're a man. You know what you want. The woman's trying to figure out what she wants. So if y'all end up together, which is her choice by any means of stretch of the imagination, it's her choice that you're in it. It's her choice that you're getting sex, and it's her choice that you're pretty much this is leading to a relationship. So what you want to do is make her acknowledge that and make her accept the consequences for her choices and her actions. This is typically how
Yeah,
this shit
true, but I think like a lot of guys, they don't think about the things that they want. They are more focusing on the things that she wants, you know?
Yeah. And the sad part about that is it doesn't matter what she wants. It's a matter of like putting her on the spot and making her admit to what she wants and always put her
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
And this is what I'm trying to get into with that. Like, look, I don't care. I don't care what she told you, what dream she sold you. Fuck her. Make her own up to her shit. Like I said, when you get that fucking question at the beginning of a relationship, and like there's multiple questions that you're going to get. Like I'm gonna start with this one because there's other ones like finances and stuff like that. But when you get this question, what are we? Make her answer that question first. Never answer that question first. Make her answer that question first. Then, if you want to, answer that question second, or don't answer it at all, or say ditto. You see what I'm saying? Because now it's based on what she believes. What she
yeah,
believes.
true. But I
So
want to ask you, Tico, like right now you are in a relationship, right?
yeah.
But like combined with your red pill knowledge, how do you deal with that?
What relationships? Oh, it's no. Like I look at it like this. Look, I'm not willing to lower my standards, and I'm not willing to lax my standards. If you can't meet those standards, you can't be in a relationship with me. It's that simple. Like, I don't care who you are, how big and bad you are. I don't give a damn who your dad is. I don't care if you're, Mallory from Natural Born Killers. I don't care if you killed 90 people. I'm not budging on my standards. I don't give a damn who you are. I don't care if you got an army behind you. My standards aren't laxing. You got to meet my damn standards, and you got to suck it. If you can't, then get the fuck out my face and kiss my ass. That's pretty much how I feel when it comes to women. That's pretty much how I feel when it comes to anybody. If you're a guy, you can't meet my standards. Get the fuck out my face. That's pretty much
Yeah,
how I've always been. Like, I don't care who you are across the board. Don't give a damn if you're the president of the United States. I don't give a damn if you're the dictator, the pope, the bishop, the pope, the bishop, the pastor, the priest, the rabbi. I don't give a damn if you're Muhammad itself. If you can't meet my standards, get the fuck out my face.
yeah, yeah,
It goes for anybody across the board. And this is typically how I am as a human being. Like, it don't matter who you are. If you're not going to meet my standards, I don't give a damn what your title is. I don't give a damn who your parents are. Meet my damn standards or get the fuck out my face. Well, that's not fair. I'm this person and I have a million stuff. I don't give a damn. How about you kiss my ass? That's typically how I feel about it. Like, and everybody knows this about me, and everybody always acts.
yeah,
Well, I understand why Tico's acting like this. No, nigga, you're not meeting my standards. Fuck off. And that's pretty much how I feel about this shit. And like, people laugh at
yeah,
me, but I'm being dead serious. Like, no, look, fuck off. Like, literally. Like, I don't care how you feel about me. It's all about me. Because I've always said, I said this in the beginning, and like, people know this about me. I don't care how you feel about me. As long as I'm okay with me, that's all that matters. You see what I'm saying? And this is typically how I treat relationships. Like, if you're not going to live up to my standards, fuck off. This is typically where that whole entire saying, fuck you, fuck your face, and fuck your day come from. That's pretty much how I feel if you're not going to meet my standards. I'm not gonna ever change for anybody. You either have to accept me for me or go cry in the corner. That's pretty much how I feel about it.
yeah. Good point, man. And like, yeah, just because of the things that you are saying, that is also the reason that like I only have about three. No, I got four friends, and I don't really have a good connection with my family actually because of the things that you are saying. And
Yeah.
like my circle is really really tight, and like people that don't accept me or don't accept my standards, yeah, they can just fuck off. And even though you are maybe a family member, go fuck yourself, because my life is too short to spend my time with people that are not accepting me for the person that I am.
Yeah, and the sad part about that is, and it's like you can't really do stuff without, like, because the sad part about society is we always talk about this when it comes to women. Stuff only happens to you because you let it happen to you. If something's happening to you, it's because you opened yourself up for those things that actually happen to you, for things that actually come in and actually destroy you. Because I look at it like this: look, I don't give a damn what's going on around me. You could be launching nukes around me. As long as I do what's necessary to get out of this nuke raining, I'm perfectly fine with that. It's typically how I look at things. It's like, look, I don't give a damn if I'm in the middle of a hostage situation at a bank. I'm gonna negotiate my freedom. Fuck everybody else in this bank. That's pretty much
Yeah,
how I
true,
feel.
man. And like, yeah, I want to touch upon that. When it comes to women, like I decided, like, yeah, like I'm not gonna say like I walked away from women, but I trying to do my best to stay away from women. But
Yeah,
also, I am not pumping and dumping. And why? Because like, even though you don't have a relationship with a woman, that doesn't mean she cannot give you some yeah, that doesn't mean she cannot falsely accuse you of rape. That doesn't mean she cannot do you bad things. So, like, I
definitely.
don't even give them the chance.
Yeah, because I've actually, most of the times when I've been done wrong, I've been done wrong by women who I've never even been in a relationship with, barely met, or don't even know.
Yeah,
You
so
see what I'm
and
saying? So
that
most
is why
most
like if you like yeah, sorry, like if you really don't want to have trouble with women and if you really want to be for 100% safe, then yeah, also do not pump and dump.
Oh yeah, and the sad part about that, yeah, that's why I'm against pump and dump for two reasons. One, That could happen. And two, I'd like to know where my sexually transmitted disease came from. Because I'd like to know what heifer I'm cussing out if I get a sexually transmitted disease from the bitch. Because I'm cussing somebody out and we're going to have some words on the phone or in person. Like, no, I don't believe in pumping and dumping because I would like to know who the hell and where the hell I got my STDs from. I don't want to be sitting up there guessing like, did I get it from Sherry? Did I get it from Carrie? Did I get it from such and such? No, I don't want that. No, I want to know where I actually got it from. That's typically how I feel about it because people always talk about, well, pumping and dumping is safe. Well, you obviously don't know about the whole entire condom thing and how many AIDS cells can actually fit across a condom pore side by side all the way to one end of the other condom pore.
Yeah.
If you can honestly say that, because like at the end of the day, right now as we speak, with the current condoms, about 200 AIDS cells can actually line up from one end of the pore to the other end of the pore and actually get through the pores. The same thing goes for like hepatitis or all this other stuff, gonorrhea and stuff along the lines of that. Because like I look at it like this: if you're going to do pump and dump, and you're going to use a condom. I want you to think of it like this: because condoms are only what like 70, or only 76, 77 or 76% effective these days. Think of a condom like this. Because I said this with the mask. Think of it like this: there's a chain link fence there. Okay, cool. Everybody got that image? Chain link fence.
Yes.
Take some sand, take some sand, pick it up, and throw it at that chain link fence and see how much sand gets through there. And tell me, do you still want to have sex? Because I work in microbiology, and I can tell you that's pretty much your damn chances of actually not getting a sexually transmitted disease in this day and age because condoms are less effective anymore these days. Half of them break. Hell, most of the condoms now break on you. So now you ain't got to worry about that. You got to worry about it all coming at you. And that's typically how this works. Like, I know this because I work with this, and I know the pores on a condom. The pores on a condom changed over time. It used to be when I first heard about condoms, when I first learned sex education, condoms used to be 99.9% effective. Over the many years, it had dropped down to 70-something% effective. Then
Ooh,
on top
yeah.
of that, they're much more easier to break. Hell, if you actually pull a condom out of its wrapper, you can break a condom. If you put a
Yeah.
condom on,
So yeah, the only way to be 100% safe is just don't do it.
and that's pretty much what it is. It's like, look, just because you pumping and dumping things, that don't mean you're not going home with some consolation prizes or some guests. It's pretty much how it
Yeah.
works. You're going home with some guests or consolation prizes. Let it be chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, herpes, all these things. And the sad part about that, gonorrhea, syphilis, and herpes are now they got the second strand that's not curable. So the medicine that we got on the market doesn't cure that shit. So now you're stuck with it. Herpes was never really curable in a heartbeat, but like they got a second strand that's even worse. Like you got to worry about an outbreak most of your damn life for the rest of your life. Whereas before you can get rid of the outbreak and then it may come back every now and again. Now it's like it's going to be there, and everybody's going to know you have herpes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, true, man. And like, yeah, right now, like, yeah, I am not gonna call myself a monk because I don't have that monk mindset. But yeah, when it comes to sex and women, I haven't had sex with women for more than 1.5 years now. So yeah, no pumping and dumping also for me now, you know. I literally try to stay away from women. I am not gonna say it is forever, but right now, yeah, I don't fuck with that shit, man.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
one of those things. It's one of those things where it's like you got to take into consideration all your options and and everything that's around you as a human being because like you're going to get yourself into some shit no matter what. It's all about what's your safest motive, what's your safest course of action to actually get what you need done without hurting yourself or harming your temple, which is your body. So you got to do it with you got to pretty much take the least amount of harm as humanly possible when it comes to stuff like that. And like I would say, look, if you're going to do something, do it because you want to do it and you want to have fun doing it, not because you on the off chance that you might get a sexually transmitted disease that might be life altering and change your life. Do it because you want to do it.
yeah,
Like
exactly. But yeah, unfortunately, most people are not like that.
yeah, and the sad part about that is like I was saying, when it comes to condoms, like literally think of your condom like that while you're having sex. Pick up some sand, look at a chain link fence, and throw some sand through that chain link fence. And look at all the shit that lands on the other side of that chain link fence. That's pretty much your chances of not getting. That's pretty much your chances of not catching a sexually transmitted disease at this point in time in life.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Life lessons, man.
Yeah, that's definitely life lessons, and it's like it's going to hurt, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, Tico, fuck you. You done messed up my chance of having sex, and you gave me that image. Well, dude, I'm just being real with you. This is always how I've always been. I've always been real. I keep it very visceral, and I keep it very real. Like, what do you want? You want me to sugarcoat it? No, that's not my style. I'm going to give you the real, unfiltered shit when it comes down to it. Like, either you can expect that from me or you can run away from it. At the end of the day, what you're going to do, end up coming back and say, well, Tico, I tried to run away from it and you end up being right. Okay, now we're moving on now. You realize you were wrong, and
Yeah.
now we're moving on from this whole entire situation. It's pretty much how it is. It's like, what can I do? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to do you want me to if you want me to sugarcoat it or you want me to be nice about it, it's not going to happen. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to be nice about anything unless we're out and about and we're hanging out and drinking beer. That's the only way I'm going to be nice about anything. However, if you want me to talk about a serious topic and a serious situation, I'm always going to be real and visceral about it. I'm not going to give you some fantasy, and I'm not going to go too far right with it. I'm going to go up the middle and give you the real, unadulterated things I would tell my children, or exactly what my grandma told me growing up. That's pretty much how it works. Like, what you're not going to do, I mean, my grandparents or grandma basically told me growing up, pretty much what you're not going to do is like, well, Tico, you're being a bit mean. Maybe you should dial it back a bit. No, I'm being a bit honest. You don't like it right now because you can't accept the fact that you're fucking up and what I'm saying is right. Like, that's simply how I look at things. Like, I've always said, look, if anything I say pisses you off and you get mad at me, it's not my fault that you're pissed. That's something that I sparked inside of you that made you realize that you need to change something about yourself. That's all it really is. Like, you can be mad at me all you want to, but you still got to change the fact that you're still mad about that topic that I just talked about. What you going to do
Yeah,
about that?
true.
Like, be mad
That
at
is,
me because you
that
don't
is
want to change?
also yeah, that is also the thing with people in general. Like if you're trying to learn something to people, you always think that you are trying to do them a favor, but at the end of the day, they hate you because you are trying to drag them out of their fantasy world.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And the sad part about that is, like, I'm that person that'll destroy your fantasy. I'm that person that's going to destroy you. I'm going to be your worst nightmare, or am I going to be your craziest, wildest dream for all intents and purposes? Because, like, I'm
Yeah.
always going to destroy. I'm always going to destroy the shit around you that you thought was real or realistic in life, and it's really not. Like, I'm going to destroy that. I'm going to send your world crashing down around you on fire. And that's simply how I work. And this is simply why I call myself a sadist for this reason, because I could be very red pill and I could be very, very black pill. And the sad part about when it comes to my black pill, it's going to hurt your feelings, it's going to hurt your pride, and it's going to make you think about yourself. That's pretty much all it really
Yeah,
is.
I am also like that, you know, I would never make fun of you or laugh at you because you did something stupid because we all make mistakes.
Yeah,
But
I'll make
like
mistakes.
if I already warned you three, four, five, or six times and you fuck it up, don't come back at me because yo, bro, I warned you, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And the sad part about that,
That is also how I am.
yeah, the sad part about that is I notice people who do that shit, like, don't you basically give them a fair warning and they mess up, then they want to get mad at you because they messed up after you told them you're going to mess up. It's like, no, it's not my fault you messed up. I warned you, and you wouldn't have lost your time or money doing what you did if you'd have
Yeah.
listened to it in the first place. Like I said, at the end of the day, if you're mad at anything I say, that's something that you need to work on in yourself to improve upon, because that's the reason why you're actually mad at me. So what I said basically sparked something inside you to give you insecurities. You need to fix that yourself, then come back and talk to me. If you can't fix that yourself, you're going to sit there like a very immature little boy or a very immature little girl. That's typically how I look at you. If you can't fix that about yourself, like I'm willing to fix anything about me. The question is, are you willing to fix anything about you?
Yeah, true, man. And like if I warn you about something, that is because I already made that stupid mistake. And because
True story.
I really care about you, don't do the stupid shit as me because I know what it is. And if you are stupid enough to do it anyway, yeah, don't come back to me. Hey, bro, I warned you about it, and you have to deal with it, man.
He's perform as a nut. I will, and I'll rub it in. He's basically talking about
Yeah,
we're not gonna we're talking about we're not gonna make you feel bad about it. We're not gonna laugh at you. He said he will, and he'll rub it in. Hey, there's people that like that, and I admire people that do that type of stuff. I'll at least give you the benefit of the doubt. Like I'll let you come to the conclusion. I'll be like, I told you so.
yeah. I told you, man.
I told you so. Whereas Mr. Farmer's gonna rub it in the whole entire time. You about to get fucked up. You get fucked up. You got fucked up. That's Mr. Foreman for you.
Yeah,
Told your ass.
yeah.
I let you actually. I let
But
you actually.
some people they will never learn.
Yeah, they won't learn. And the sad part about that is like sometimes that's how they got to learn. They got to learn through their own trial and error. And the sad part about that, I give you time to actually learn yourself. Then come back to me and say, Tico, I was mad at what you said before, but now I understand why you said it the way you said it. And I
Yeah,
appreciate that, even though I fucked up. And I'll go, I was right. Told you so. I'll tell you
yeah,
after
man.
after the fact that you fucked up. That way I know you picked yourself back up enough to basically go on about your merry way. Whereas this performer is going to laugh at you before you fall down. He's going to laugh at you while you're down. He's going to laugh at you when you get back up and come to his face. I wait till you come back to me to laugh in your face. Like that's
Yeah,
typically how it works. Like it's one of those things where it's like, pick your poison. What do you want from me? I'm always going to give tough love when I think tough love is given. Because like I said, I don't approach this like any other MGTOW red pill man. I approach this like a father. And I'm approaching you like I'm your dad, and I'm giving you sound advice. If you don't want to take that advice, you're going to suffer. And I'm willing to let you suffer, and I'm not willing to help you out until you get back up, dust yourself off, and go, you know what, Tico? You was right. And you move right along, basically. Or, you know what, Tico? You were somewhat right, or you were half right. Like, I'll take any of that. I'll take any of that stuff. Because, like, the sad part about that, when I give somebody advice, I know it's sound, and I know I'm not going to just give anybody advice if I don't care. I'm going to give you advice if I care. And if I care enough to give you advice, you might want to listen to it and eat it. If you're not willing to do that, you're going to suffer.
yeah,
And
true.
you can't
But
blame Mr.
like
Suffer.
some people, they have to learn it the hard way, and that like one of the reasons of that is like did you ever had something in your life that you wanted so much but you didn't thought about the bad consequences that you were like, just fuck it, I'm just doing it because I want it, but at the end it always turns bad because you didn't give a fuck about the consequences, but
Yeah,
because you really wanted it, you just do it. And that is also one of the reasons that a lot of people, they don't want to take your advice because they think like, what, maybe it I can do it, and
yeah.
then yeah,
Or
they
maybe
will
I'll
fall
take care.
down.
Or maybe I can pull this off. And like when it comes to stuff like that, don't get me wrong. I will push the limits, or I will push the envelope to learn more about myself. But the sad part about that is I'm not willing to just go into something without fully thinking something out, without fully thinking it out, or without fully planning it out, if you know what I mean. Because at the end of the day, what I'm not finna do is put myself in danger and not have any plans or not have an exit plan for what I'm about to do. And typically that's how I operate. Like I weigh all the pros and cons. I weigh all the benefits and risks, and when I do something, and I go from there. So I will admit I have done things where I thought was a bad idea, and I know it was a bad idea, but because I planned it out so meticulously, and I had a backup plan, and I had a exit plan, and I had a backup B plan, and I had a backup to that plan, I was able to overcome it and risk very minimum to no no heavy consequences for all intents and purposes, because I meticulously do this shit on a regular basis, and this is what I'm used to doing. And I always
Yeah,
strategize.
like
Now
yeah,
that's
like
different.
me
That's different
myself,
from
like
let me live my life, Tico, and you stick your hand in the fire and you get burned. It's like, well, so how's that working out for you? I'll pull a Dr. Phil on you in a heartbeat. So how's that working out for you so far?
yeah. Yeah, like me myself, I one time in my life I really want to go to Iraq. And you probably think why the fuck you want to go to Iraq? Why uh I like history, I like the Arabic culture, but I
Mm-hmm.
am not gonna go to Iraq. Why? It is fucking dangerous and there is a chance of 99.9% that I don't come back home alive, so I don't go to Iraq. Actually, my point is that I want it, but I am not doing it. Why? Because it's not a good idea. And
True.
even though I want it, I got enough knowledge to say this is not a good idea. And the
Yeah.
mistake that people make, they doing something because they want it, but they are not aware of the bad consequences. And that is yeah, that is a blue pill aspect, I think.
Oh, it definitely is. It definitely is. And it always will be. And the sad part about that is, like I said, when I make decisions, I make it based on a plan and a strategy in mind. So if I make a dumb decision, I usually have a backup plan to the dumb decision I'm going to make. And people around me get like very scared for me, like, oh my God, Tico, you're not going to make it. It's like, I got this. Shut up, shut up. Just let me handle this. I got this. And that's simply how I always operate or work. Because I'm not going to do something. I'm not going to do something if I have a chance of not coming back alive, or if I have a chance of being maimed severely for all intents and purposes. If I have a very low survivability rate, I'm not going to put myself through it. And that's typically how I always looked at things. Um, but at the same time, it's like I plan this stuff out enough so if I do it, I have a high chance of actually coming out of it okay for all intents and purposes. And there's just people that just be like, I'm going to do this anyway because you're not letting me live my life, and then they come back maimed and in a traction or in a wheelchair and stuff like that, and I go, yeah. So how did living your life work for you? And I'm a dick like that because I believe in tough love, and people don't seem to understand that. Well, you don't understand, Tico. No, I understand. I understand that you're stupid. It's simply what I tell people. I understand that you're very dumb right now, and you just want to do stupid shit, and go ahead and do stupid shit. And I'm willing to say that to people because I always said if you're going to get into a relationship with anybody, this goes for any type of relationship, friendship, uh, acquaintanceship, associateship, relationship, a family member. If you're going to get into that, you got to be willing to have enough tough love in you to basically be able to be a dick. Because the sad part about being a dick, sometimes it's just good to be a dick. Because you got to be able to actually put aside your emotions long enough so you can not be mad at the person, so the person can learn their own damn lesson. That's typically how that works.
Yeah, true. And like when it comes to the red pill, for me, when I took the red pill, I I am living in reality and I really trying to do my best to yeah, leave my emotions out of it. Because like if you are if you are getting if you are angry or sad or whatever, that will affect your look on the reality, you know? Yeah, I don't really know how to say that in English, but for me, when I took the red pill, I tried to leave my emotions out of it and trying to look at it like how it really is, if I like it or not.
Yeah, and that's simply how you should be. You always should be able to check your emotions at the door when you do things. Like, don't get me wrong. Every now and again, I will get passionate about something, but at the end of the day, it's all because I care, and it's all because I approach it
Yeah.
like a father. But the sad part about that, if you don't want to take that, if you don't want to take that advice or take what I say with heed what I say, I am going to be a dick about it, and I'm going to pretty much give you tough love about it. Like, well, Tico, how come you weren't there when I fell down? Because I told you not to do it in the first damn place.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
pretty much how I
Yes.
am. Like, I told you not to do it in the first damn place. What you want me to
I
say?
told you.
Like, nigga, I told you.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like you got to learn this at a young age because, like, And the sad part about that, and people always get shocked when I say, look, I was raised like this to basically make these decisions as a young kid. And then people always look at me like, I don't understand how. It wasn't the fact that, because there's a lot of people, if you were born in a military family, you had a military family member, or you have a military family, or dad, or mom, or both, they're going to teach you shit that they've learned in the military that you're actually going to learn. You might think it's dumb at the time, but you're going to learn this shit and it's going to stick with you. Like a good example of that is I actually come from a fairly strategic family, or a fairly militaristic family for all intents and purposes. So everything is, you know, this, and this, and this. If you know anything about the Vedic tradition, everything is like in order for you to do every day of your life. Like there's a way that you should set up your house. There's a way that you should do your prayers. There's a way that you should do your exercises, and how you should do your exercises, and when you do your exercises. There's a way you should do all this stuff, and it's all written in a book for you to follow. So all the stuff that I do, I follow that book or that teaching for all intents and purposes. Let it be me praying. Let it be the clothes I wear. Let it be how my house is set up. Let it be how my house is decorated. Let it be how I live my life. How I exercise. I pretty much follow everything, all the teachings of that book.
But
So
are you a religious person?
um, Hindu wise, yes. Christianity, not as much, to be honest with you. That's the best way I can describe it to you. So Hindu wise, yes, I'm very religious.
Can I
Um,
can I ask you something? What do you think about Islam?
um, Me personally, I have no beef with Islam. I might poke fun at it or make fun of it, but I have no beef with it. Actually, because I look at it like this: when it comes to religion, when it comes to the big threes, like Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, I basically view it this way: it's nothing more than a vehicle to get to where you need to go. Some of them got more fancier vehicles. Some of them are driving Porsches. Some of them are driving Lamborghinis. Some of them are driving Toyotas. Some of them are driving Honda hatchbacks. It's all about how you
Yeah.
get there, how fast you get there, how if you learn the lesson while you're on your way to the road to where you need to go.
But you
That's
you
simply
you you said like yeah, sometimes making fun of Islam. Can you give me an example?
huh? Like I did with the whole entire earlier in the stream when I said, I don't care if you're Muhammad. Like I'm going to treat
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
That's basically one of those things that I say. Like I'll do that with Christianity a lot too, where I say I don't give a damn if you're the Pope, the Bishop, the pastor, the priest, Jesus. You know, you're going to get treated the same way, no matter what.
Yeah,
And that's basically how I convey how I really feel about something and let you know that I'm deadly serious about this. Like I'm
yeah.
not changing. I don't care who you are. It's going to stay the same. And that's pretty
Yeah, but
much
what you say, yeah, for me, I don't see that as making fun. You're just being honest.
Um, well, yeah, and it's one of those things where like you can't you I mean you can make fun of people, and if sometimes I do make fun of things and stuff like that, and I kind of sort of see it as poking fun at religion when I do that. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's like I'm basically trying to convey to you, I don't care. I really don't care. Like it's one of those things where I'm keeping it very 100 and keeping it very serious. And people don't seem to understand that about me. They're like, "Well, you're being this. Okay, that's nice. I'll be happy to be this." You can't judge me.
But
Only God can judge me. Like, it's simply how I always do it. Like, well, how do you know God's not mad at you? Because God made me in the image of Him. That's why I know He's not mad at me. He
yeah,
can't be mad at
but
your creation.
do you agree with me? Like I think Islam, Christianity, and Judaism is related to each other. Like
Oh yeah,
when you talk about Buddhism or Hinduism, that is something totally different.
yeah.
But
Like they're 100.
Islam, Christianity, Judaism is related. Do you agree with me on that?
I agree with you 100% on that one because, like I said, they're basically
Because they all
nothing more
believe in a higher power.
than where you need to go. And the sad part about that is that they're all at the end of the day. Here's how I know they're all related. They're referred to as Abrahamic religions. First off, if you know
Yes,
anything about
yes, exactly, yeah.
Abraham, if you go back to Abraham, he had sons. One son was one son chose one group one way, and the other son chose another way. It's that simple. So it's all about what son you actually fall under when it comes to Abraham. Is it Abraham or somebody before Abraham? Is Abraham, yeah. Basically, his religions are of his sons. For all the these three religions are all of his sons, if you know what I mean. So all these religions are nothing more than manifestations of his sons' teachings.
But
If you know,
but let's say you had to choose between Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. What would you choose?
none of the above, if I had to choose.
Okay.
If,
Yeah,
if
me myself, I consider myself as a Muslim. Like I am not practicing, but I consider myself as a Muslim, and I'm gonna tell you why. Like when it comes to Jesus, Muslims also do believe in Jesus. The Arabic translation is Isa,
yeah,
but from a Islamic perspective, and that is also what I believe. Uh, I also believe in Jesus, but Jesus is not the Son of God. That is not possible. How do you think about that?
um, don't get me wrong. I've often questioned that, and because I've questioned many parts of the Bible, and I've been kicked out of many Catholic churches. So
No.
I question all aspects of the Bible. And I ain't got no problem with being kicked out of something in a heartbeat for asking a question. So it's one of those things where it's like you have to really think to yourself, if this is this, then what is this? Because I like the thing that pisses me off about a lot of Christians, and I hear this a lot from a lot of Christians, is they still say something stupid like Christianity is the one true religion. And I just sit there and look at them like they're stupid, and I blink like several times, like they just have like 6 kids, and I go, you do realize that your religion is based on Judaism, right?
Yes.
Like, how is Christianity the one true religion when your religion is based on Judaism? Well, no, you don't understand, Tico. It says in the Bible Jesus was a Jew. How the hell can you tell me that you're the one true religion when Jesus was a Jewish man? Hell, for all we know, every single person in the Bible in the Old Testament was Jewish, as far as it says. So for you to sit up here and tell me that you're the one true religion when the basis of your religion is based on Judaism, that doesn't fly with me. Like you're basically bitch smacking Judaism at that point. Like that doesn't work for me because what you can't do is say you're the one true thing when in fact your religion is based on a religion that's much older than your religion, Judaism. The Old Testament, the whole entire Old Testament is written by rabbis. Think about that, my dude. So how is
Yes.
your religion the one true religion when your whole entire Old Testament and everything that the New Testament stands on is the Old Testament? Well, they say you shouldn't worry about the Old Testament. It doesn't matter. The Old Testament is still in your book, and you follow it. And if you forget about it, then you're forgetting about where Jesus actually came from. So what you can't sit up
Yeah,
here and
true.
tell me is forget about the Old Testament and who Jesus' lineage was. Because at the end of the day, even when you go to the book of Matt, the first book in the Bible, the first book in the New Testament, what it read? Such and such begot this person, begot that person, begot this person, begot that person, begot that person, begot this person, begot this person. Eventually, it keeps on going until you get to begot Jesus. You see what I'm saying? So it basically tells you what Jesus' lineage is. In the first paragraph in the New Testament, it tells you what Jesus' lineage is. So therefore, that means you got to take your ass back to the Old Testament, look at that stuff, to make your testament even relevant, because at the beginning of the book in the New Testament, that's literally what it says is this begot this person, begot this person, begot this person. Is basically telling you it's basically a family tree of Jesus for all intents and purposes. So what you can't sit up here and tell me is that the Old Testament don't count if the book is actually teaching you this.
Yeah. What one thing? Successful Endover says, Garuda, I disagree with you, but that's my choice. Successful, what do you mean exactly? Let me know. Yeah, interesting topic, man. I really like to talk about religion because like the funny thing is most people that are claiming to be atheist, but at the same time they believe in a higher power or in Jesus. So
Well, he did
actually
say,
they are not really atheists, you know?
well, he did say The Abrahamic religions are all tied to him. So that's true. Like what? Once you think about it, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity are all tied to Abraham.
Yes.
And where did Jesus come from? Jesus came from Abraham. He's one of the many people in the begottens when leading up to Jesus. So at the end of the day, what you can't say is they're not all connected, when in fact it's pretty much nothing more than a manifestation of his children. All those religions are nothing more than a manifestation of his children. That's pretty much all it really is. And it's like you can. The sad part about that is like if you're deeply religious and you follow one of those religions, you're probably going to disagree with me. But if you're Jewish, you're going to be like, "You damn right, Tico, get them." Pretty much is what it's going to be if you're Jewish, and that's pretty much how it works. It's like if you're Jewish, you're really going to say, "Well, yeah, Tico got a point there." That's pretty much going to be your. That's pretty much going to be your thoughts on the whole entire thing. Because at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
but
all
Tico,
these
do you
religions are
like
interconnected,
do you
intertwined.
do you believe that Jesus is the Son of God?
Um, Me personally, reading all the Abrahamic religions, if you actually read parts of the Bible, it basically says that somebody's going to come every so often for each religion. So I believe that the manifestation of everybody is basically God basically sending people down to save his children. Like a good example of that, Abraham. There you go, Judaism. Then you got Jesus, Christianity. Then you got Muhammad, Islam. You see what I'm saying? So all these people are nothing more than a manifestation of God to actually help his people see the light and lead them to a better place for all intents and purposes. It's pretty much how I.
That is true, but like Mohammed was a messenger and Jesus was also a messenger,
Yeah,
but he
they're all
claimed
messengers.
that he was the son of God, like from an Islamic perspective, and that is what I also believe. It is not possible that Jesus was the son of God, and why? God is a higher power. God is not a human being. From an Islamic perspective, it is really disrespectful towards God to say that Jesus is the Son of God, because God is not a human being.
Well, I'll give you that too. But the irony to it is like I don't really believe as much. I believe that all of them were messengers that were meant to be sent at specific points in time to to save a specific group of people for all intents and purposes. So at the end of the day, what I actually believe that all three of them were nothing more than messengers who God entrusted with His word. You see what I'm saying? Um, that's my honest beliefs on all three of them. They're all messengers that God entrusted with his word to teach his people or teach his children, if you know what I mean. That's pretty much what I believe by that. Because at the end of the day, once you actually think about it and boil it down to anything, we're all children of God. No one more special than the other one. We're all children of God. Everybody's
No,
made in
we
the
are
image
no
of
no no
God.
no no no. We are not children of God because God is not a human being. We are
Oh, no,
creations
what
of
I mean
God.
by that, though, what I mean by that is, if you create something, it's going to be your baby for all intents and purposes. Let you create something. You're always going to have a fondness for it. So I'm talking about parent from like a creative standpoint. Like you're always going to have a fondness for something that you create. You're always going to hold it near and dear to your heart. Is what I actually mean by that. I don't mean like actual parent. Like my children and me. I mean like as in like if a good example of that is if I created a new car that runs on hydro something basically, and it never needs gas, it never needs to be repaired, and it never needs to do all that stuff, and everybody's buying it, and I sell it and it's worth billions. That's going to be my baby. I came up with the idea. I bought that idea within fruition. So that's my baby for all intents and purposes, or that's my child. And it's basically something that was conceived from my mind, which actually makes it mine. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to religion, you're made in the image of your creator, which makes your creator, because we call him the creator or God, basically. He's the creator because he did create all this lovely stuff. if you believe that. So therefore, at the end of the day, if he's your creator, he's your parent to some extent, or he has some vested interest in you actually doing good with your life. It'd be no different than, a good example of that is if in a roundabout way, once you think about it, when your mom and dad have sex, they create you. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you are right, but I don't want to think about
Like,
it. No, but yeah, no, you are right, man. You are right.
just look at it like this. Like, look at it like this. Because when you actually look at it, it's not like they went. It's not like they went into the lab and made a Frankenstein and said, "You." That's a miracle that you actually came about as a human being. You see what I'm saying?
I
So,
hope not, man.
and the sad part about that is, it's one of those things where, like, he's your creator. He made you, and it says in each of the books, let it be the Torah, the Quran, or the Bible. You're made in the image of Him. Therefore, you're of Him. You're an essence of Him, however you want to refer to it. You're an essence of Him. You're a piece of Him. He made you in the image of Him. And this is typically why I always joke about me. Like, if I'm going to create, if I'm going to actually view myself in the image of God, God probably views me as the image of Him in the Old Testament. I'm just going to keep it 100. I'm flooding shit. I'm burning shit down to the ground. I'm electrocuting motherfuckers. I'm showing up as a pillar of fire. Anything, basically, anything that looks like death and destruction. That's pretty much me right there. I agree with that 100%. If you want to go that route, that's pretty much my image that I view myself as the image of God. I'm God from the Old Testament. I'm doing all the dickish, most craziest,
But
most
like
shit.
let's say at the end of the day, you consider yourself as an Hindu?
Um, I'm only Hindu as far as like how my life is set up and how my life is structured. Like, I
Like
still follow.
you do not practice it.
I practice it sometimes. I don't practice it all the time, but when I do practice it, it's like very shocking to people. And my family even looks at me like, "Is he going to die, or did he win the lottery? What the hell's going on with Tico? Like, why is he here?" That's typically how my family looks at me when I actually do practice it. It's one of those things where if I'm doing it, I'm basically trying to find myself, or I'm trying to find a balance within myself. For all intents and purposes, the
But
best way.
you are part Indian, right?
Yeah,
Like, do you think that has also something to do with your Indian background? Because, like, I think just because of the fact that, like, I believe in a lot of things that Muslims believe in, that has also to do with my Indonesian background. Like, Indonesia is the biggest Muslim country in the world.
yeah,
I think that that has also something to do with that.
yeah. And it's one of those things. It's one of those things where it's like me. I approach religion basically like a vehicle. When it comes to the Abrahamic traditions, like, it's all about how you're going to get to heaven. Do you want to get there fast? Do you want to get there slow? Or do you want to get there reliable? You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's pretty much how I view the religions for all intents and purposes. If you want to get there fast and pay your way to heaven, then you're probably going to choose one religion over the other. If you want to get there and you want to learn your lessons and learn what you need to know to move on, then you're probably going to try to choose a different path, and that's probably the better path for you. Or if you want to get there steady, ready, steady, then that's a good way to go too. Sometimes God's going to push you along a little bit faster if He believes that you need to get to where you need to go a little bit faster. It's typically how my approach with my children. Like, I give my children a room to actually grow as themselves. However, I think my children are falling behind. I will give them that initial nudge to let them know that, okay, that he's getting a little bit disappointed because you're starting off kind of slow pimping. You're starting off kind of slow pimping. And I believe that's what God basically does for you. He'll eventually give you that nudge, so you can get an extra pep in your step to actually continue what you need to do properly. And that's pretty much how I look at a lot of things when it comes to religion. It's like, I try my best not to get wrapped up into dive in too hard into religion for that reason, because I know that, because me, despite the fact that I was raised Catholic, I know at the end of the day, when I die, one or two things can actually happen. I was right or I was wrong. What am I going to do now? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, true, man. And like I always say, like if you truly believe in God or that higher power, you gotta realize like you can do the most horrible things behind closed doors, but that higher power, he or she, whatever, something that sees that. And like God is everywhere. Like I always pray at home, and like when I see a lot of Christians that I know, but also a lot of Muslims that go to the mosque or go to church, they don't go there specifically to pray for God, but just to building up a community.
Yeah.
What is your opinion about that?
There's nothing wrong with building a community. And to answer a Manly Lowe's thing, that doesn't apply to God though. God can do any damn thing he wants. If you want to make something in the image of himself, he can make something in the image of himself. That's just for you, not you as a human being, not to try to create the same damn thing. This is typically why I think cloning is not legal, because there's this moral gray area when it comes to cloning. Because in all technicality, if you clone something, you're creating an image of yourself. Therefore, this is the reason why cloning is more morally unethical versus everything else, if you know what I mean. Like, we're not allowed to create stuff in the image of ourselves, but he's allowed to create stuff in the image of himself because he can do that. The rules don't apply to him. I mean, granted, the only rule that applies to him is free will. Like, he's not going to make you do something. He'll give you the option to choose to do it yourself. But when
Yeah,
he makes
true,
it,
man.
he
And
makes it himself.
like talking about cloning, like I would never clone myself. And why? Because like you also always see that in movies. Like if you are cloning yourself and yeah, you wake up after that cloning, like you think that you created a clone, but you are the one that is that clone. And why? You also got that same memories. And yeah, yeah, you always see that in movies, but that is the reason, if that is maybe possible in the future, I would never clone myself.
Yeah. And a good example of that is like, here's why I would never clone myself. Because, like I said, I'm an honest criminal. Okay, cool. What's that mean? So if you clone me, 9 times out of 10, there's a high chance that you're going to get a not so honest criminal that's going to be very savage with his criminal activities. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's a small chance that you'll get somebody who would do right by everybody and be a pillar of his community. You see what I'm saying? There's another high chance. There's not a high chance where you'll get somebody that can balance it evenly like I can personally. You see what I'm saying? I can balance both those communities evenly, perfectly. What you're going to get is you're going to get a bunch of criminals, or you're going to get very few people. You're going to get very few people that will be pillars of your community. So, like, it's one of those things where, like, you're not always going to get the perfect balance that you're expecting out of that person by cloning that person. You might catch some DNA, or you might catch some genes that might give you the criminal genes. You might catch some genes that might give you the, you know, you know, there might be a fat me for all I know. If you keep it up for all intents and purposes, there might be a fat me, a skinny me, a muscular me, a dangerous me, an even more dangerous me, a criminally insane me. It's one of those things where like you're playing the laws of average when you start cloning shit. So you're messing with something that you have no clue what you're doing. So you're going to go through a bunch of trial and error before you actually get what you want. And the sad part about that, even at the end of that, you're never going to get that. You're never going to be able to replicate that thing over and over again. It's going to keep on being laws of average for all intents and purposes. It's pretty much how that works. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, true, man. And like yeah, like the original will always be the best, you know?
Yeah, the original will always be the best. I mean, granted, you can tweak now. There's one thing if you actually tweak the original and mess with its genomes to make it better. That's one thing. Like, but if you're trying to clone the motherfucker and try to do it, you're gonna run into a world of hurt. You're gonna run into a world of hurt doing that, and that's simply how it works. And I understand what you're saying, Manly, though. But at the end of the day, it's true. You only can worship him. But the question is, which him is him? Depending on your religion, it is what it is. So at the end of the day, I agree with you on that one. At the end of the day, it is what it is when it comes down to it. And the sad part about that is, like I said, I'm still raised Hindu at the end of the day. I still follow a lot of the Vedic traditions when it comes to me getting ready in the morning, to me preparing my food, to me the way I dress, the way I carry myself in public, the way I do everything is based on the Vedic traditions. Let it be exercise, let it be meals, let it be meal preps, let it be how my kitchen is set up, let it be how my living room is set up, let it be how I pray, let it be how I dress, how my household is set up. Everything's based on a Vedic tradition at the end of the day. However, I will say this though, despite the fact that my life and schedule is based on the Vedic tradition, I will tell you this in a heartbeat. I am Catholic because I was born in South America, and that's typically what most of us tend to be is Catholic. So I do follow a lot of when it comes to religion, I do follow the Catholic religion. However, there's still the Vedic traditions that I was taught that you really don't think about, and it's just taught to you that you carry with you no matter what. It's not the fact that I'm this. It's not the fact that I'm saying I'm actually Hindu. It's the fact that I actually practice a lot of their traditions of Hinduism. I'm not saying I'm actually Hinduism. I'm saying I follow a lot of traditions based on what I was taught by my granddad, and this is typically how I carry myself for that reason. So at the end of the day,
Yeah,
it's
true,
not the
man. And
fact that
like that for me that is exactly the same when it sorry, for me that is exactly the same when it comes to Islam. But the funny thing is, Tico, like when it comes to MGTOW and red pill content, that is yeah more yeah based on a lot of guys they have a Christian
yeah.
background. I mean, like when it comes to red pill content, I think as far as I know, you are the only one with a Buddhism background, and I am the only content creator with an Islamic background. That's
There's
pretty
a couple
funny.
content creators. I got an Islamic background, but they don't really talk about it too much like we do when it comes down to it. And to answer a manly loads thing about that, because like this is one of the many things that I poke fun at when it comes to Christianity. What that said right there is okay, that's cool and all, but at the end of the day, I often think to myself when I hear that line, did a woman write that line, or did a woman write that line for God because she interpreted God a certain way, or was it a guy that was selfish that wrote that line trying to interpret God? Because it's one of those things where it's like I can't see God. What I can't see God doing is doing something like that and being a jealous God if he knows he's the one true God. You see what I'm saying? If he knows he's the one true God, he wouldn't be jealous of any other God. You know what I mean? So I kind of sort of have a
Yeah,
problem.
true.
I kind of have a problem with that line because I think that either A, that was lost in translation, or somebody that was very jealous and tried to get people like a king or something like that, or a woman, or somebody who was trying to get people to capitulate to what they want them to do. So he typically wrote that in the Bible. So I think it's one of them things that was lost in translation because I can't understand God being a jealous God. If you're God, you wouldn't be jealous of God because you are God. Why would you be jealous of yourself? That would be like me looking in the mirror saying, how come I look handsome in the mirror? I hate the mirror. You see what I'm saying? Once you weigh it, that's pretty much what you're doing. You're pretty much looking in the mirror and you're mad at the mirror image of yourself because you think you look better in the mirror than you do in real life.
Yeah, I do not really agree with you. Like I get your point, but I think it's like as a human being, you should never compare yourself to God. I think that is
Well, no,
really
no, I'm not saying compare yourself to
disrespectful
God.
to God.
Well, no, I'm saying I'm not comparing myself to God. I'm saying you saying God is I'm a jealous God. It'd be like God looking in the mirror saying, I think I look better in the mirror. I'm mad at the mirror. You see what I'm saying? That's basically what I was saying.
Oh yeah, no, okay, okay. No, sorry that I
I'm not trying to
misunderstood
compare
you.
myself to God. That'd be like God looking in the mirror, goes, you know what? I look sexy in the mirror, but I don't look sexy in the real life. Fuck this mirror. You see what I'm saying? That's basically how I view that whole entire line and quote. Like God being mad at how he looks in the mirror. So now you got to break the mirror and you got to be mad at the mirror now. Why are you going to be mad at
Yeah,
who you are as a human, who you are if you're God? You're pretty much the end all be all. You're the Alpha and the Omega. Why are you mad at yourself?
yeah. Hey, one other thing. When I read the comments, I read, "We have lost a brother. Rest in peace. Liberation Y." I know the name, but yeah, who is Liberation Y?
He was actually a part of Red Pill Wisdom and Red Pill Liberate. They basically did a channel together. I think I want to say.
Okay, okay. But did he pass away or something? Or
I don't know. I must have missed that, but he must have because apparently we lost a brother. Unless he means. Oh, it says rest in peace. So obviously we lost a brother. Unless he's being satirical and he left the Red Pill community is what I'm thinking. Like unless he either died or left the Red Pill community. That's the only way I could think of that you would say rip rest in peace. But yeah, if he passed away, I missed that, and it's sad. That's one brother that we lost, and it sucks.
yeah, rest in peace. But the funny thing is, Tico, like, let's say you are dying tomorrow. Your content will be still on YouTube. If I die tomorrow, my content will still be on YouTube.
True, true, true. Very
And like if people don't hear from you never again, then they probably think, okay, maybe he left the red pill community or maybe he is dead, but you will never know. I mean, like I can die tomorrow, but the Garuda ghost will always be on YouTube. You can die tomorrow, but Tico Tren will always be on YouTube.
true story. Yeah, you would actually know my views on race relations all the way up to red pill content, all the way up to cartoons and anime, all the way down to the travel channel and the children's programming that I got on YouTube
Yeah,
to
can you
the youth
send me a
adult.
link from your travel channel?
I definitely will. I definitely will. From
Because I
everything,
like traveling, you know.
yeah, everything from all those channels will be on YouTube, so you always have a piece of Tico Trend in your heart, depending on if you like me or not as a real pill content creator. You probably like me because of my anime, or you probably like me because of the children's programming that I put on YouTube. Either way, you're gonna like me for this reason, and I'm always gonna be in your heart no matter what. And the sad
Yeah.
part about it is, it's typically how it works. And the sad part about that is when it comes down to it, is the sad part about that. If I die tomorrow, you'll know I died because either my children or the cartel princess will basically put up a video letting you know that I passed away. So somebody on my
Yeah.
channel or somebody in my party, let it be Yam, let it be Double I, let it be uh Black Pill Radio, let it be MGTOW in the Wind, let it be Mr. Forma, Psyche Soap, and or Duzangs or True Sherm, somebody's going to let you know I passed away. One of them are going to get the message first, and they're going to let you know that I passed away. So you're going to know I passed away no matter what because they're going to hear about it. One of them are going to hear about it first, depending on who gets their text message or phone call first. So if I pass away, you're going to hear about it.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, do you want to die today or do you want to die tomorrow?
Often wonder about that. To be honest with you, I actually think about that. Like, if I died today, would I be okay with dying today? And I think about all the stuff that I did and all the stuff that I don't have completed in my life. And I look at it like this: if I'm okay with passing away today, I did everything in my power to do everything that I wanted to get out of the way and get off my chest for all intents and purposes that I found important to me. If I don't want to die today, then apparently I need to get to work and get some shit done. So
Yeah.
if I feel like right now in my life, I would feel comfortable with it if I died today or tomorrow. Um, because I know that I accomplished a lot of stuff that I needed to accomplish, and I got a lovely body of work to go with it. And the sad part about that is it's all about I'm actually happy with everything that I've actually done and laid out and put out in videos and stuff along the lines of that for that reason. So it's one of those things where it's like I regret nothing and I'm happy I've done it.
Yeah, you already yeah, left your mark on this planet, you know.
Definitely. Yeah, like what probably what like a grand total of probably 40,000 videos worth of impressions scattered throughout
Okay.
many channels, about 40,000 different impressions of myself scattered throughout many different videos, many different channels, and across channels that I'm just like, where I just go do the research for. I left my indelible mark across all that stuff at the end of the day. So I'm actually happy about all the stuff that I actually completed in life. So I would say that I would be happy if it was my time to go, to be honest with you.
Yeah, true, man. Like, yeah, when I look at myself, Tico, like I don't have a wife or kids, but like, if I die tomorrow, then at least I could say like I, especially the last 14 years of my life, I did the things that I want, and I will rest in peace, you know?
Yeah, true. Very true. And that's typically how it works. That's how you got to look at it too. And it's sad that you got to look at it that way, but at the end of the day, it's all about you. It doesn't matter what everybody else wants from you. It's all about how you perceive it and what you want to do with it. Because nobody can tell you to live your life better than what you can tell you to what you can actually live your life to the if you can. I mean, nobody can tell you how to live your life to the fullest better than what you can do to live your life to the fullest. They can give you suggestions, but they can never tell you how to live your life to the fullest properly.
Yeah, true. And then that is what I hate about other people when they say like, yeah, you should do this, you should do that. Hey, man, you just do it your fucking self, man.
Yeah, like yeah, you got the mouth. Do it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, MGTOW on the Win said he'd be pissed if I passed away today. Yeah, apparently MGTOW on the Win would be pissed if I passed away today. But one of them would actually know before any of y'all would actually know. And trust me, somebody will let y'all know. Let it be in Discord. Let it be in a video. Like there'll probably be a video. Like a good example of that is like matter of fact, I even have a video ready to go on my channel for that, just for that day, just in case something happens to me and I pass away. There's a video on my channel letting you know that I passed away, and it's
Oh
in a
yeah? Well, what is the name of that video?
huh?
What is the name of that video?
Well, it's not up yet. It's in private. So if it does happen, in the event that it does happen, it'll pretty much go up. When I'm
Okay, okay, that's interesting. So you are already preparing yourself like,
yep,
let's maybe if that would happen.
yep,
Shit, man.
I have a video just in case I pass away.
Okay, damn. Fuck.
I have a video just in case I pass away. And it's
Okay, okay.
you think about it because like you also got to take seriously too. I come from the Latin culture, and we celebrate death, and we celebrate the life of the person who died. So it's like I'm okay with it. So it's a matter of are you okay with it? Like it's one of those things where you eventually have to let me go at one point because I always had this quote when it came to like people that are dying. I always view people who who always try to keep somebody on the respirator or try to keep somebody alive seconds longer as being selfish because the person who's trying to die already lived their life to the fullest and they deserve to go in peace without you bothering them or dragging them back down to earth. They deserve to go in peace. So I always view people who keep their relatives on a respirator longer, hoping and praying that it'll change, or anything along the lines of that for all intents and purposes, as them being selfish. You should always let somebody go. If they're ready to go and they're happy with going, let them go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true, man. And like if you are dead, maybe that is the beginning. You never know, man. I mean, like the life that we are living right now, maybe that is just some shit test.
Yeah. And that's basically how I look at it. That's basically how I look at it. And it's sad to say it that way, but it's basically how I look at life and how I view life in general. Like I'm already ready to go, so I'm gonna need you to be a bigger grown up or a young adult and let me go. Like I've lived my life, I want to go. If it's my time to go, I want to go. Because I've always stated this in a lot of my videos. If it's my time, it's my time. I'm not gonna prolong it, or I'm not gonna try to get out of going. I'm not gonna make any crazy demands or crazy make up any crazy excuses, and or any type of thing to, or make up, or try to convince God not to let me go. I'm not going to bargain for my life. It's my time to go. It's my time to go, and I'm going to enjoy it. The question is,
Yeah,
can you let me
yeah,
enjoy my
true,
life
man.
away from you guys? Because, like I said, I always viewed it as like, it's basically, I view death as a graduation from this crazy world. That's basically how I view death. It's nothing more than a graduation from this crazy world. That's all it is. So if you look at death in that light, you basically got to be happy from the person, because they graduated from Earth and they went to their next destination. So you can't be, so if you hold a person back, you're being jealous of that person because they get to leave you and you can't leave, or you're being jealous of the person because who the person actually is, the human being actually is, body and body, not spirit. If you can't let the body go, you'll never let the spirit go. So therefore, you got to let the body go so you can let the spirit go.
Yeah, true. And like, yeah, I didn't made a video, yeah, where, yeah, if
Video.
I would die, but like, yeah, let me tell you this way, like, I realized that every day that I'm living can maybe be my last day. And like, right now I fall asleep and maybe I will never wake up.
Yeah, and
You
it's
never know. And like, if I die, I won't notice that. I feel sorry for the people that I left behind. But when I die, me myself, yeah, I don't know. I don't notice that, you know?
yeah. And the sad part about that, if you're dying, is basically what I say about living. The thing about living is, if you don't take care of yourself while you're alive, you really can't worry about everybody else around you if you're worried about everybody else and not yourself and your well-being. Because the minute you stop worrying about your well-being, you're going to die, and then everybody around you are going to die because they relied on you. You see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
by not taking care of yourself, you done killed yourself off and ran yourself to an early grave for this reason, worrying about everybody else but yourself. So I view life and death the same way. If you're going to go about life worrying about other people and not yourself, you're going to die. You're probably going to die a very early death from being stressed out, from worrying about everybody else. This is typically why I take the stance on take care of yourself, worry about yourself, better yourself, and improve yourself.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that is truly a fact that people that are having a lot of stress, yeah, they die sooner, a couple of years earlier. That is scientifically proved.
Yeah. Matter of fact, a lot of people who stay up, a lot of people who do late shifts or like overnight shifts, they actually take a lot of years off their lives also.
Yeah, I
People
I worked a lot of night
mess
shifts,
up
man,
their
and
sleep
I did that
circadian
for
rhythm.
about 6 years. So yeah, I will probably die a little bit sooner.
Yeah, because like a lot of
Yeah,
people
but
say,
yeah, no, but you definitely got a point, man.
yeah, because they say, because a lot of nurses who work 12-hour shifts or work overnight shifts, because their work, we're messing up their sleep circadian. It basically messes up their lives and it takes years off their lives, just as bad as if you were a smoker. If you do 12-hour shifts, you literally take years off. You take minutes or years off your life also, depending on how long you did those 12-hour shifts. So it's one of those things where you got to find a happy balance and a happy medium for yourself to actually be able to take care of yourself as a human being. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's one
true.
of those
But
things.
like yeah, me
Don't always
myself, I
focus
am
on things
smoking
that-
cigarettes.
Yeah,
That
don't
is,
always
yeah,
focus on
not
things that
not
distract
good for my body. So
you.
I
Yeah.
will probably die a couple of years sooner than somebody that doesn't smoke cigarettes.
Well, that all depends. If you smoke cigarettes and you still work out, you'll be fine. You won't die as fast as everybody else that is just being flat and sloppy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not working out. I go swimming once in a while and I go kickboxing once in a while.
So I'm gonna need you to pick up some more days in kickboxing and some more days in swimming.
Okay, yeah,
More days.
yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where like you got to take care of yourself because at the end of the day, swimming is cardio, kickboxing is cardio. As long as you can keep those things up, if you're a smoker, you can kind of sort of negate the damage done to your body. I mean, it's not going to be like a substantial amount of negation to the damage done to your body, but because you have the cardio, you can pretty much make it work a lot longer. A lot, you can pretty much drive yourself a lot longer in life for all intents and purposes. So that's why I joke about saying definitely pick up kickboxing one more time a day and pick up swimming an extra day or two for all intents and purposes, and you'll see a lot of improvement. Hell, I'll even go as far as to say treadmill or jogging or walking is good for you also. So it's one of those things where like as long as you balance your cardio properly, you'll be fine. Because at the end of the day, once you think about it, what does cardio actually work for you? If you're swimming or running or jogging and all this stuff, you're not just working your heart. You're working other muscles and you're working your lungs, your diaphragm and your lungs. So
Yeah,
therefore,
true, man. And like
you're putting that all.
especially when you are swimming, I'm just swimming for fun, but
Yeah.
when you are swimming, you are using muscles that you normally never use.
Oh, definitely. And the sad part about that is you got to learn how to control your breathing so you won't be out of breath sooner than later.
Yes.
And if you're an underwater swimmer where you like to swim underwater for a good distance, you got to be able to control your breathing too. So at the end of the day, you're working all that stuff in your muscles, in your heart, in your lungs. So therefore, if you do that and keep that up, you're fine. Anything with cardio, you're going to work all that stuff, no matter how you look at it. It may not be the same muscles as swimming if you're kickboxing, but it's still muscles and it's still your cardio and it's still your lungs and your diaphragm that's going to be worked out. So at the end of the day, as long as you're taking care of yourself, that's all that matters to some extent. It doesn't have to be like every day like Tico Day, but as long as you're taking care of yourself, that's all that matters.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but yeah, when you talk about underwater swimming, I really trying to train myself with underwater swimming. Right now, I can swim underwater about 1 minute and 42 seconds.
Like a good example of that, I can actually swim from one end of the pool to the other end of the pool underwater right now. I'm trying to learn how to do it back. I'm trying to learn how to do it, take a breath and do it back for all intents and purposes, or turn around and do it back
Okay.
in the water. I can do from one end of the pool to the like one of the like a, I'll say a regular high school pool. I can swim from one end of the high school pool to the other end of the high school pool underwater. So
Okay.
I got that down pack right now. I'm working on turning back around underwater and going back the other way now is what I'm trying to work on. But I can say this, I can swim one way underwater right now.
Yeah, true, man. And like when I'm in Thailand, I am always really active. When I wake up in the morning, I go jogging for an half an hour, then I go to the beach swimming, and then I go to Muay Thai training for 2 hours. So let's say 1/2 hour jogging, 1/2 hour swimming, and 2 hours Muay Thai. So that's 3 hours. Like if I would do the same like here in the Netherlands, then I could say I am good at shape. But yeah, like when I'm in a different country, I'm also a different person. And like you, Tico, you also traveling a lot. What is your opinion? Do you think that you are another person or a maybe a better person when you are not in the United States? What can you tell me something about that?
I believe that I'm actually a better person when I'm not in the United States for the reason that like I do stuff like I still because all of its purposes because when you live in the United States or you live in a first world country, you tend to get caught up in the spoils or the amenities of a first world country. So you tend to get a little bit lazy. It's not until you actually go back to your old country where you realize that, okay, maybe a nigga's out of shape or maybe a nigga is like, maybe a nigga need to work on this. It's typically how I'll look at it. Because like a good example of that is always talk about the cockpits of Jamaica. People always talk about Jamaica like, oh well, Jamaica, this, that, and the other. If you've never been to the cockpits of Jamaica, if you're not in shape, I suggest you never go. Going to the cockpits of Jamaica is not for the faint of heart. Because the sad part about that, when I go to the village, when I do go back to Jamaica, I gotta walk miles up a hill, hillside basically. And the sad part about that, there's steep fall offs, there's uneven ground. And the sad part about that, not only do I actually got to work my way up the hill, I got to actually remember where all this shit actually is on my way up the hill. So now it's muscle memory on where all this shit is, so I don't get fucked up on the way up the hill. And now on top of that, I got to worry about like my actual health going up this hill. So it's one of those things where like it's one of those things where I'm constantly thinking and working going up that hill. The sad part about that, the last time I went up the hill, I realized that I need to step up my cardio game because the nigga wasn't up to par.
Yeah. But Tico, one other thing. I was in your live stream yesterday, and I said something about if you are ethnic, like in the United States or in Europe, like when you go, yeah, quote unquote, go back to the country from your parents, then like you also feel different like there, and you feel more Western if you are in that country from your parents. What is your opinion about that? Do you feel like you are more American if you are not in America?
No, because I tend to lose. I tend to lose that whole entire. Well, you also got to take consideration too. When it comes to me, I've never really been Americanized. So when I go back home, I'm pretty much the same as I am at home than I am in America, than I am in India, than I am in you know Jamaica, than I am in Costa Rica, than I am in Colombia. I'm always the same across the board. So I'm pretty even killed when it comes to everything because I haven't quite been indoctrinated by by the first world country trappings for all intents and purposes. Don't get me wrong, I still take an Uber, I'll do other stuff like that. However, I haven't quite been I haven't quite, took on the whole entire, Americanism or the Americanization of being American for all intents and purposes.
But
Because I
what like you are Costa Rican, right?
yeah,
Like, what do you mean with going home? I mean, like, you are born in Costa Rica or not?
I was actually born in Mexico. But
Okay.
I was born in Mexico because my mother didn't want to listen to her damn doctor. He told her not to travel basically, and she did any damn way. So that's how I ended up being born in Mexico. Because a heifer didn't want to
Okay.
listen to the damn doctor because she didn't want to have to relinquish the money she paid for a trip. Basically, is how that worked. So I was born in Mexico because a heifer didn't want to give up her trip. That being said, that being
Because
said,
like Tico, you are black, but at the same time you are also Latino, right?
yes, yeah, I
So
refer to
like that means like
Latino.
compared to the average black person, you are different, and compared to the average Latino person, you are different, right?
Well, no, because it all depends. Because like, if you look at Latino as a whole, there are Black Latinos, there are Asian Latinos, there are Arab Latinos, there are Indian Latinos, there are Latinos from every walk of life. There are white Latinos, there are mestizo Latinos, the Latinos go across the board. Because being Latino is not really a race; it's a culture for all intents and purposes. And the thing about being a Latino is you wouldn't be able to tell me apart from it. I mean, depending on how fast I'm talking, because Dominicans talk fast as hell in Spanish. If a Dominican is talking, you can tell me apart from a Dominican, but you won't be able to tell me apart from any other any other ethnic group as far as Latin America's actually concerned. Because like if I start talking Spanish, you're like, okay, that nigga's a Latino most definitely. Like that nigga, yeah, that nigga,
Yeah.
that
And
nigga's
like because like here in the Netherlands, like my father is from Indonesia, my mom is yeah, white Caucasian, original Dutch, whatever you want to call it. But Indonesia has been colonized by the Netherlands, And that is also the reason that you have so many Indonesian people in the Netherlands, and there are so many mixed race people. Yeah, Dutch Indonesian. Like there are more mixed race people like me in the Netherlands than people that are 100% Indonesian. And like when it comes to being mixed race, like do you think that people that are mixed race, yeah, I always call it, the best of both worlds. How do you think about that?
I think that's very true because I always joke with like my I always joke with my granddad, or I'll joke with my grandmother, and I always joke with people on my mother's side about being I got all y'all strengths and none of your weaknesses. That's simply what I tell them because I'm being a dick, and it's pretty true once you think about it. Because like I talked about this when it comes to genetics, when it comes to genetic pools, if your genetic pool's big enough, your child can end up with all the genetic gifts in the world. If your genetic pool's too small, your child would probably end up with all the genetic bad things and some genetic good things for all intents and purposes. So I always joke about that with my grandmother and granddad growing up, and I joked about that with my grandma, mom's side, and my mom, because I've always said I have all of your strengths and none of your weaknesses. It's basically something from it's a line from Blade, if you remember. He has all their strengths or none of their weaknesses, and
Yeah, true, man.
that's simply how I pick. That's simply what I say to my relatives when I say it, because at the end of the day, I have the ability to not really fit in anywhere I need to fit in at any given time, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yes.
even having black skin, if I really wanted to push the issue, if I spoke Kromani, which is an Akan language from the African Akan language tree, motherfuckers would think I'm from Africa. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I really push the issue, like if I never push another issue, motherfuckers would think I'm Dominican. Um, like, and it's typically how it is. Like, so I have the best of all the worlds to be ambiguous as hell and not really fit in. But at the same time, when I say that I have all your strengths and none of your weaknesses, when it comes to the black aspect of it, I have all the black strengths and none of the black weaknesses for the fact that I basically know what I could do as a black person and what I could get away with as a black person. This is typically why I always talk about having black privilege, because I know there's things I can do at work that white people only could dream of doing, and African Americans like get scared that I might get fired for doing for all intents and purposes because I'm
Yeah.
black, and ain't nobody willing to contest it if you're white for all intents and purposes because you look like a dumbass. So, like a good example of that is I always say when I was at work, when I used to work at the hospital, when I used to come into work, no matter who was in the building, let it be HR, let it be anybody in a lab, let it be HR, the director of the lab, the administrative director, my supervisor, your supervisor, I would come in the lab and say, "What's up, my niggas?" And everybody would stop what they're doing and look at me. And some of them would say, hi, Tico. And I go, "What's up?" And some of them would run back to their office because they're trying to avoid a human resource incident for all intents and purposes. So it's one of those things where I can either make you scared or you're going to embrace it. It's one of those things. So it's one of those things where I use it to my advantage, and I'm never scared to do it. And this is typically what I talk about: commit and owning it. If you can't commit and own it, you're going to get picked on, and you're going to get bullied, and people are going to pretty much fuck with you. That's when people mess with you if you can't commit and own it. It's typically the same thing what I say about women. If you're not willing to commit to something when it comes to a woman, that's when all the hell is going to break loose, and you're going to catch all the shit. You're going to catch all the hell and shit from a woman. If you're willing to commit and own it, you're less likely to have hell throwing at you. People might be upset about it, but they're less likely to challenge you, if you know what I mean, because at that point they're kind of scared of you. It's typically how that works. So
Yeah,
yeah,
true.
mixed people do have the best of both worlds, or the best of all worlds. Like a good example of that is I went to an Indian restaurant in another state, and these motherfuckers thought it'd be cool to talk shit on me in Hindi. Oh, were they wrong? Were they so wrong? The sad part about that, I let it go on for a while until I got up and I paid for my meal and I gave them a tip. and I basically was and while I was doing that, I was talking to him in Hindi, and the minute I said something,
Yeah.
like, oh fuck, he knows what the fuck we were saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand you. That they would probably be like, hey, what the fuck? This black guy
uh-huh.
understands our language. Right?
Yep, because I played dumb many times, especially with Latinos. I've let Latin women talk shit about me, and I've let Latin women talk about me in a sexual manner. Because women, the thing I love about women is, especially in America, they'll talk shit and say men always objectify women. Oh my god! If you don't know another language, women do the exact same fucking thing in that
Yeah,
language.
that's true, man. I mean, like, women are more perverts than men. That's just a
Oh,
fact.
and if they can get away with it in another language, they're going to get away with it in another language. And that's the cold hard truth. Like, I've heard Latin women objectify men more times than men objectify women. I've heard Indian women objectify men more times than men objectify women. You know, I've heard it from all women. I've heard Russian women do it. I've heard Arab women do it. I've heard I've heard Jewish women do it. I've heard like Albanian women do it too. Like everybody,
Yeah.
the sad part about that, women do it more because especially these women, because they can actually hide it within language when they actually do it. So women actually objectify men more than women objectify men more than men objectify women.
Yeah, true, man. And that is also one of the reasons, like, never act like a pussy when it comes to women, because, like, even like every woman at the end of the day wants to get fucked really hard.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter how shy or how innocent she is. She wants that hard dick.
she wants to be bent
That's just a fact,
over something really,
at
really.
the end of the day.
And it's
No, but
pretty.
that's true, man. And like, it doesn't matter how shy or how social or how innocent she is. It Yeah, they want to get that hard dick at the end of the day.
True story. And the sad part about
That's just a fact. And like, never feel like an asshole when it comes to treating women. And that is also a mistake when it comes to a lot of men. They think that just because being the nice guy, they
Mhm.
can get the pussy. But no, man, you are digging your own grave by being the nice guy.
Yeah, definitely. Because I always say to women, because I'm a very vulgar person. Because like women will sit up there and talk shit. I go, look, heifer. Just because I eat pussy, that don't mean I am pussy.
Yeah, exactly. But do you know what it is like? Especially like, when you first meet a woman, yeah, don't make love, just fuck that bitch.
Yeah, definitely. All right, see you successful endeavors. He's saying he's trying to leave.
Uh, yeah, have a good night, successful endeavors. I
Watch some.
need to get to a restaurant before it closes. Hey, successful endeavors, be glad that you can go to a fucking restaurant with
For
that
real.
COVID shit, man.
And there's people in countries that don't even have.
Successful endeavors, enjoy your meal, man. Thank you for the support.
Thank you for the support of this live stream. Definitely, you're always welcome, brother. Always welcome. And it's stuff like that that just makes me laugh when it comes to people, and it's like it's very enjoyable, and I enjoy it immensely when people can actually put in their input and like show love and show up and show out basically and show support. It's like I enjoy that stuff, and it's like it's very lovely when people can do that type of stuff. Um, yeah, I enjoy it very much.
Yeah, true, man. And like when you think about it, Tico, like right now you are in the United States. I am from Western Europe. Let's say it's a flight of 7, 8 or 9 hours. But
Hmm.
yeah, like, even though we are in different part of the world, we yeah, for me this is an example of that camaraderie. Just having a conversation, and like, I am not the same as you, we maybe do not always agree with each other, but like I am being honest with you, always, yeah, honest towards myself, and that is how we learn from each other, you know?
Definitely, definitely. And that's basically all you can really do is learn from each other and be a better version of yourself, and actually, be willing to actually improve upon yourself and make yourself a better person. You can't always go with group think, because group think will fuck you up badly. Like, the sad part about that is, like, you can't go with group think. And, like, speaking of which, on the topic of, like, women, this is typically one of those things where I always talk about with women too. When it comes down to it, only information a woman deserves to hear from you is your age, your favorite color, your favorite number, and what you like to eat. That's it. That's it. That's all she deserves to know from you in the first damn place. Everything else, she has to learn her fucking self. Don't tell her no shit about you. Don't divulge no more information than that shit. Just your age, your favorite color, your favorite number, and what you like to eat. That's fucking it.
Yeah,
And
true. But when you talk about that group thinking, let's say, yeah, you are a black person, like yourself, Tico. Like, like, like black people, they hate each other more than they hate other people.
well,
White people hate each other more than other
it's
people.
actually it's actually
Christian people hate each other more than other people. Islamic people hate each other more than other people. That is just a fact.
well, the sad part about that, it's not the fact that black people hate each other more. It's the fact that black
No, in
people have a
in general, it doesn't always have to be, but in general.
well, I'm saying black people have more self hate than they actually have hate towards everybody else. It's more so self hate and jealousy when you actually speak about black people, because they hate themselves first off the bat. No matter how much they want to claim they're proud of themselves, a lot of them actually hate themselves for being black. And the sad part about that, I'm willing to bet you any fucking money, if any black person had the opportunity to be white, they would take that. There at least 70 to 80% of them, motherfucker, fuck it. I'm willing to go as far as at least 90% of them will take the option to be white. Only
Yeah,
10 of them.
but why? Why? No, Tico, is that really because of the fact that they wanna be white, or is that because of the fact that if they would be white, then maybe they can get a higher position? Those are
No,
two
no,
different
it's more
things.
or less the fact that it's more or less the fact of indoctrination. A lot of these
Okay.
people are jealous of they're jealous of other people, but they're more so angry. They're mad. They suffer from self hate of themselves. And the sad part about that is so true. It's like, no matter how you cut it, black people suffer from self hate. Because I'm willing to bet you any money, like I said, if you told every single black person in this whole entire world that you have the option of being white or black, 90% of black people would actually choose to be white.
Okay.
Without a shadow of a doubt, at least 90% of black people in this whole entire world would choose to be white.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, maybe that's the reason why Michael Jackson did so many surgeries.
I wouldn't be shocked about it in the least bit.
Yeah. Yeah, but like like we yeah, you are born as a white person or a black person or Asian or whatever the fuck. Like I see myself, I was born as a human being, and that was not my own choice. That was the choice of my parents. And yeah, whoever you are, uh, don't hate yourself, but also do not be proud of yourself just because of the fact that you are born as a human being.
True, yeah, very true.
Like
Yeah,
an example of that, like when we talk about yeah, white supremacists, they feel better like you and me just because of the fact that they are born as a white person. And I think that's fucking bullshit. Like, I am proud of the things that I have accomplished in life. I am proud of the fact that the choices that I made in life, got me at the position that I am right now. And like, just being born as a person, whether you are white or black, like, you never had influence on that. So why would you be proud of the fact that you are born as a white or a black person or whatever? I think that doesn't make sense.
Most definitely, it doesn't make sense. The sad part about that, there's a difference between being proud of who you are as a human being and being proud and having too much pride and believing that you're better than somebody because of the color of your skin. Those are two totally different things. If you're proud of who you are as a human being and proud to be white or proud to be black or proud to be Latino or proud to be if you're proud of yourself, period, that's strength that nobody that's strength that very few people actually have in this world for all intents and purposes. Because at the end of the day, it's only a certain group of people actually are proud of who they actually are as a human being or their skin color or their skin tone. Like, there's not too many black people that are actually proud of being black. There's not too many Indians that are proud to be Indian. There's not too many there's not too many Asians that are proud to be Asian. There's not too many Latinos that are proud to be Latino, just as much as there's not too many other races and cultures that's not proud to be their actual culture. The sad part about that is a lot of these cultures would prefer to have the European features more so than their own features, which is actually very sad. And it goes to show you how damaged these cultures are as human beings. It is what it is. Like I always say, I'm very proud of myself and I'm very proud to be black. I'm not saying that because I'm not saying black power when I say that. I'm proud because I'm very proud of my skin. I love my skin and I love the skin I'm in. And that's it. I don't mean that to start some type of race war. I mean it to be proud of myself. That's all it really is. Because at the end of the day, ain't nobody going to love you more than you love yourself. At the end of the day, nobody will ever love you as much as you love yourself if you love yourself at the end of the day. And that's all that needs to happen is you to love yourself. If you can't love yourself, you'll never be complete as a human being. This is typically why people run out and get surgeries done, plastic surgeries done to look a certain way, because they're not happy with themselves and they're not happy in their own skin. You like to have a lot of insecure people in this world, which is sad.
Yeah, true, but yeah, maybe you do not agree with me, but I think like at the end of the day, every person on this planet is a racist. Do you agree with me or not?
100%. It's. I agree 100% on that. Everybody in this world is racist, no matter how you cut it.
Yes, exactly.
Even a person that doesn't think they're racist is racist. And it's all about because I think I was talking about this with a manly load or somebody else basically. At the end of the day, everybody has two levels of racism. There's healthy levels of racism and there's unhealthy levels of racism. And usually what I mean by that is you can have unhealthy levels of racism or you're going to be just regular like healthy levels of racism. When I mean by healthy level of racism, that means like racial biases. You tend to avoid people based on
Yes.
racial biases or racial profiling for all intents and purposes. That's typically how that works. That's usually healthy levels of racism. Now, if you're racist, that's not healthy. That's not heavy levels of racism. Now that gets into a whole nother level of racism, being racist for all intents and purposes, because you actually are now starting to actually show and say how you really feel inside. But healthy levels of racism is based on stereotypes and or what you've been taught or what you learned about another group of people. Everybody has that about people. A good example of that is me. Like I said, I think at the beginning of this live stream is I don't date white women and I don't date African American women. I mean, I don't date white women. And now that I think about it, and I turn around and say I don't date American women in the least bit. So, in all
Okay.
technicality, if you want to get technical, I do have a racial bias or a prejudice bias against American women. You could call it that if you want to, but at the end of the day, it's more so a preference than a bias. It's based on my it's based on my experiences with those group of people that actually makes me form this opinion about these people.
Yeah, true. Like and like that is also like you can like here in the Netherlands, same like in the United States, we have people from yeah many different countries, many different ethnic backgrounds. To be really honest, I have a problem or yeah a lot of bad experiences with a certain group of people in my country.
Oh yeah,
That
definitely.
doesn't mean that doesn't mean I hate them because they are from that country, but I have really bad experiences with those group of people. And like racist or not, like if you have bad experiences with a certain group of people or you don't feel comfortable, sorry, with a certain group of people, stay away from those people.
Yeah,
And that has nothing to do with their skin color or their religion or whatever. No, you have bad experiences with a certain group of people from a certain country or certain ethnic background.
yeah.
And yeah, you will always keep that in your mind, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because the sad part about that, I forgive, but I don't forget. Like I
Yeah.
forgive in a heartbeat, but I don't forget in the least bit. And the sad part about that is what this is what people have seen and don't understand about me. Like, look, I've had experiences with these group of people. Therefore, I just don't date these group of people because I don't trust that group of people. And it's simply how it
Yeah,
works.
exactly. Yeah, it's you don't trust them. Exactly. Like here in the Netherlands, like we have people from Morocco. You know Morocco? That is in
Yeah.
North Africa.
Like I
That
actually have
is
a racial
about
bias against Moroccans also, which is
what you
another thing
say?
I actually have a racial bias against.
Sorry, say that again.
I have a racial bias against Moroccans. Well, I actually have a
Okay.
racial
Uh,
bias against Northern Africans for the most part. Um, Based on my experiences with them and you know especially me personally and me being in a security firm, I have racial biases against Northern Africans
yeah.
because of the experiences that I've actually experienced with them, not because somebody told me, but because of my actual experiences with them.
Yeah, your own experiences,
Yeah,
exactly. Like in the Netherlands, like people from Morocco, they are only 3% of the population in the Netherlands,
but I bet
but
you they
they are responsible for about 45% of all crimes.
right.
No, let me finish talk. I never experienced those crimes with Moroccan people, so I don't get influenced by that. But like I know Moroccan people. They screwed me. They talk shit about me. They stabbed me in the back. Like when you look at the Netherlands in general, Moroccan people they give people with an ethnic background in general a bad name,
Oh
but
yeah,
they also give Islamic people in general a bad name. They are only 3% of the population in the Netherlands. And I am not gonna say that they are all bad, but as a group, for 80%, they are one of the most fucked up people in the Netherlands. Like,
oh,
and they always think that the white people are hating, and no, we all hate them. Also, black people hate them. Also, other Muslims hate them. They Moroccan people in general, and this is really controversial. And I am not gonna say that they are all bad, but 80% of the Moroccan people in the Netherlands they are the lowest of the lowest of the lowest. And to be really honest, I don't like them. The Netherlands would be better without Moroccan people, to be honest.
and this is I would actually add this about Moroccans that I've noticed. Like either they're doing stupid shit or they think they're better than everybody else
Yeah,
because they're Moroccan. And that's typically how it works. Because the sad part about that is this is typically because anything about Moroccan, especially Moroccan women, they tend to have this mightier than now or I'm better than now attitude when it comes to everybody, for the fact that, especially in America, they'll fetishize women like Moroccan women for all intents and purposes. And like, people like that, or people who look of that certain ethnicity, they'll fetishize those people. And the sad part about that is they believe that they're better than other people because they're fetishized by white men, and they're fetishized by, the U.S. market, and the goods market and stuff like that. Like a good example of that is, I remember there was a whole entire campaign with hair shampoo and hair creams and hair stuff and skin creams where they were like Moroccan argan oil, or Moroccan infused shampoo, this, that, and the other, for all intents and purposes. There's a whole entire market that went behind that. And the sad part about that is because they were so fetishized by the Western markets, the Western sales markets, and the Western economy, and they're fetishized by white men. They believe that they're better than everybody else for this reason. And this is
Yeah,
typically
and
one of the
the funny thing is like Morocco is an Islamic country, and yeah, the things that you are saying, Tico, that is the exact opposite of Islam. Like people from Morocco, like in general, they are failures, man, men and also the women. And like here in the Netherlands, Moroccan people, they also hate each other. Like a Moroccan couple, you never see that. They also hate each other. They also discriminating each other. They also putting each other down. They are racist, yeah, to each other, you know. And like, I
part about
am
the
not
opposite.
gonna say that they are like there are
Yeah, go ahead.
they do not belong here, you know. They are failures. They are the lowest what we have in the Netherlands. And yeah, you can call me a racist, but it is
Who the ghost is cutting out? You there, Garuda? Ah, Garuda just fell out. What's going on? You there, Garuda? This sound is falling out. What the hell, dude? Good lord. Garuda goes execute a stealth mode level one, level 100. That's funny. You're still hearing the stream, but I'm not hearing them. So the sound might have went out. So you might have to jump out and jump back in again, basically. Um, He's gonna have stealth mode competition. Yeah, Garuda, you might have to jump out and jump back in again if you can hear me, man. Hang on, New Era. I could actually swim on my own, but I was trying to hear what he's actually saying so I can respond to it. But I can actually swim on my own if I needed to. But I basically was trying to hear what he had to say so I could actually respond to it because I don't want to leave him out and forget what he was talking about, or him to forget what he was talking about in the least bit. So I'm basically waiting for him to come back so I can actually respond to his comments so we won't forget what he was actually talking about.
Yeah, sorry, Tico. I had some technical problems, man.
So finish what you were saying. You were
Yeah,
saying,
anyway, like, yeah, again, like, I don't hate Moroccan people because they are Moroccan, and I am not gonna say that they are all bad, but 70 or 80% of them in the Netherlands, yeah, they fucking
dang, here we go again with the sound. What in the world's going on with the sound? What is up with this? Punk ass used to. Fucking YouTube. That's funny. Tell it, Tico. Oh goodness gracious. You could deep throw the cactus. Wow, that's a good one. She could deep throw the cactus. That'd be funny. I would like to see that one. I don't know if she could do all that. Oh my god. What is going on with this sound and shit? There we go. Try it again.
Yeah, sorry, man. Yeah, I restarted my laptop. Yeah, I am still using Windows 9. I need to download Windows 10. Sorry, man.
You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. But yeah, some other thing when it comes to that COVID bullshit, is it like do people wear masks where you are?
Not all the time. It all depends on what you're doing.
Okay.
Um, like in certain states they make you wear it everywhere. In other states, it's pretty much based on you pretty much literally states' rights when it comes to the United States. Like a good example of that is there's some states where you don't have to wear them at all. There's other states that there's other states where you only have to wear them when you go into actually places of business. So it's one of those things where it's like you pick and choose. You're poisoned for all intents and purposes on when and where you're going to wear them.
Yeah,
And
but
when you,
sometimes I see people in their car wearing a mask.
yeah, I've
That
seen
is
people.
retarded, man.
That's stupid as heck. The sad part about that is the thing that always makes me laugh is like there's certain states. There's like what 5 or 7 states in the United States who didn't do lockdown and is not doing the whole entire mass precaution things, and they have lower rates of COVID than every other state in the United
Yeah,
States.
but like here in the Netherlands, only 1 out of 10 they are wearing masks.
Oh yeah, definitely. In America, that's about the same. Like, and the sad part about that, it's like everybody's worried about social distancing up until they catch the airport tram. Then everybody's crammed into the damn tram right next to each other, not worrying about social distancing at that point in time.
Yeah, but like yeah, I don't know how that is in the United States, but like yeah, here in the Netherlands, a lot of people they believe everything what they see on the news, but at the same time, they're like, yeah, if I get that COVID-19, I'm gonna get it, but I am not gonna wear a mask. So, but I think when I look at the United States, the United States, yeah, people are yeah pretty yeah deep into that media bullshit, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And people about it. There's a lot more people that drink the Kool Aid than that won't. But my favorite thing about the United States is the hypocrisy of people in the United States. They'll sit up here and they'll
Right?
instead of like they'll yell at everybody for not wearing a mask, but they'll be out there rioting without a mask and protesting without a mask. Like that's just thinking. The same people who berate people for not wearing one are the same ones out there rioting and protesting without one. Like shit like that just blows my mind. So it's fine for one side, but it's fine for thee, but it's not fine for them. It's fine for thee, but it's not fine for we. This ends up being one of them things that you gotta.
Yeah, but like yeah, like here in the Netherlands, it is pretty much your own choice, you know.
Yeah, and it is what it is. It's one of those things where it's like a good example of that is when I was in Minnesota. When I was in Minnesota, like you can go in restaurants without a mask. You can go in places with or without a mask if you want to. It's pretty much optional if you wanted to wear a mask in Minnesota when I was in Minnesota not too long ago. So it's one of those things where it's like different states got different rules for different reasons. So it all comes down to
Okay.
how strict you want to make it. Like I said, there's certain states where you don't got to wear it at all. There's certain states where it's optional if you want to walk in a place with or without one. It's totally up to you at your own risk for all intents and purposes. Then there's other places where, like, you know, you only have to wear a mask if you walk in places of businesses.
Yeah, that's a good thing, and like yeah, most people they like do you believe everything that you see on the news?
Do I believe everything I see in the news? No, because I actually go investigate shit, especially if it's the fake ass news stations like CNN, MSNBC, CBC, like CBS. If it's all those news, like even I even go question like Fox News. I'll actually go and do
I'll investigate anything Fox News says for all intents and purposes because I would like to have a fair and balanced, source for all intents and purposes. And typically, if you watch both of those, you'll get a fair and balanced view. You'll basically hear what they got to say about the right, what they got to say about the left, and then you'll go over to the liberal news. You hear what they got to say about the right, what they got to say about the left, and you basically take it. And you basically go with the middle ground. Is basically how you get your best news out of everything. He fell out. Dang it. There you go. Back again. Guess who's back? Back again. You
Yo,
hear Garuda?
Tico.
Here you go. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry for my fucked up connection, man. I think we're gonna cut this stream, man. Sorry, bro.
It's fine. We can do it again another day. It's always a pleasure having you.
Yeah. Next time on my channel. Yeah, I just need to download the Windows 10, man. Yeah, with that high tech bullshit nowadays, you never can keep it up, man. But no, sorry, bro. My internet connection is fucked up nowadays, man.
Okay. I may have to wait for you to
But
come back. There you go. Okay.
uh, yeah, Tico. Hey, next stream, we do it on my channel again, okay?
Okay, definitely. Anytime, bro. Anytime. Let me know when I'm there.
Yeah. Hey, but a good conversation. Yeah, sorry again for the fucked up connection, man. My bad. But next time better, man. I will definitely keep checking out your content, Tico. I will definitely keep an eye on you and yeah, forever red until dead, man. And I'm ghosting out now. Peace.
Yeah,
Take
definitely.
care, Tico.
I like that one. That's my new saying now. Forever red till dead.
Yeah, man. Double G and double T.
definitely. Always, bro. Yeah, but
Ghost
definitely gonna
sadism.
be content
Ghost
too.
sadism.
Yeah, right. Ghost sadism, right? And I'm definitely gonna be checking out
Yeah,
your comments
man.
also. I may not always comment, but I'm always there. I
Yeah. Your own choice, man.
always check out
Hey,
your comments.
peace, brother. Take care, man. Bye bye.
I'm always there to watch it because I always support my brothers, even if I don't comment. I'm one of the many likes that you got in your comments in your like box, for all intents and purposes. So I'm always there to support, even if I don't comment. I'm one of your many thumbs up if you don't see a comment from me under your video.
Yeah, thanks for the support, bro. I appreciate that. For me, it's always an honor to get that positive energy from yeah, American brothers. Brother with a capital B.
Right? It's always a pleasure doing streams with you as well too. They're always enlightening and they're always open
Yeah.
minded, and they always push the boundaries and shit that normal people wouldn't really try to push.
Yeah. Yeah, but Tico, again, yeah, sorry for my bad internet connection. I apologize. We talk to each other really soon, man. I'm ghosting out now, guys. Peace.
All right, see ya. Um, this is Tico Tren. Be good to yourselves, take care of yourselves, and always do better with yourselves. Treat yourselves like milk, do not despoil yourselves, and be blessed. And always look to better yourself, both mentally and emotionally and physically. Um, basically, you know the drill. Just take care of yourself and always be willing to learn and keep an open mind. Be blessed. Everybody have a good one. Adios, my niggas. And yes, Black already. I see your comments. Apparently, earlier people were saying they weren't seeing your comments, but apparently you were being missed by a lot of people. So it might be one of those things where like YouTube might have did it, but if your comment showed up on the Discord side, I was able to show everybody your comment. So sometimes they won't show up on the YouTube side, and they'll show up on the Discord side, and I'm able to post them up on the screen. So when people go back and look at the stream, they can actually look at comments that were missed in the comment section, I've noticed.
Okay. Bye,
have a-
motherfuckers. Bye.
Right. That was